What the? Oh, okay.
It's clobbering time.
Atomic batteries to power. Turbines to speed.
Roger, ready to move out.
It's clobbering time! Clobberanimo!
Greetings, clobberers, clobberanimos, clobberooskies, clobberoids, clobberonians, clobberinians, clobberudians, clobberarians, and all the other clobs that are out there. You sort yourselves out among yourselves. The secret is to the others, bang the rocks together, guys. Clobberanimo! We indeed. Good to see you, my friends. I'm so happy to be here with you tonight to bring you Clobby's Clubhouse. Even though it's Clobby's Clubhouse number 98, it's Clobber Times on YouTube number 643 overall, and of course 1,343 through space and time. Whatever. It ain't no that important. As long as we're here. Who's counting? Not me. I can't count. I try, but I can't. So, hey, my good friends. I'm joined as always, folks.
Hey, you can't do the hey without doing Fat Albert. What's your problem, boss? Thanks, boss.
Clobby. Oh, my dearestness. Good to see you all, buddies and friends and pals and everybody else. Yes, it's Thursday. That means it's Clubby House time. Clubby Clubhouse time. Let's not go through all that again, shall we? Well, and I have the two greatest pals in the universe here with me. That's why it's so fun at the Clubhouse for me personally.
Hi, I love you.
Thank you.
You rock and roll. The greatest first officer. We'll, I suppose, with get some opening statements from Commander R.M. Briggs.
Well, thank you so much, Captain. It's good to be here. Matter of fact, it's great to be here. I'm looking at all these marvelous names in this chat. Good friends. We're going to have such a great conversation tonight. Thank you so much for joining us, one and all. Thank you to all the lurkers. Thank you to the wrenches. This is going to be a great night. We have such wonderful things to discuss. I also want to give a shout out to my Patreon subs. My second book is coming out, folks. And I have backers now. The corporations won't back me, but people in this fine community will. So I'm going to shout them out. I have two full backers. One is Larry. What a gentleman and a scholar. I love this guy so much. Thank you, Larry. And Tony Stark. Thank you so much, Tony Stark and Larry, for backing my book. I can't do it without you. You enabled me to do the advertising, to do book launches, to attend conventions. I'm so grateful for you. I would also like to thank my patrons who also contribute to this book getting over the finish line. And that's Sean Carter from Mars.
Cardinal.
Carter.
Cardinal Sin, Shoota, Chris Persia, Scuba and Leslie Pete, Eric Kay, and his trusty dusty dog Kirby. Actually, we share that dog. Not really, but yes. I love Kirby. Enigmatic Drop Bear, Michael and Cassandra Beacom, Mark D with the C and his beautiful family, Anti-Derivative Jill, Maximum Redstone, JT Cook, here's K-Rock, Dabman and the Dabman clan, Lord and Lady Thoth, and of course Lance, our very own Porthos, and Rob Altis. Thank you so much for backing my book. I appreciate it more than mere words can convey. I also want to send out a special word for continued love and support. And if you pray, prayers for Enigmatic Drop Bear. He's dealing with the big C right now, and it's not good. You know, when you're going through chemotherapy and stuff, it can make you feel really weak. But you know what? He's strong. He's kind. He's a beautiful and intelligent person, and he is a very important part of Saturday Night Star Trek. If you know Enigmatic Drop Bear, please drop him a note or send him some love, and he could certainly use your prayers. We're going to beat this together as a team, and we are going to back him. All the Clobberanimos, all the Clobberuskis, the whole 735 Club. So hip hip, Enigmatic Drop Bear. I also want to send out some continued love and support and prayers, if you pray, for our good buddy, Max Redstone. He had a surgery so that he could have a surgery, and now he's in recovery. And it's been a long haul for him, and he's such an important part of Clobby's channel. I love his limericks, his support. He's always there for all of us. He's just a fun and cool guy. And so, you know, if you have that extra love and support ready, he could use a note, he could use some love, and he could also use some prayers. And other than that, I just want to wave hello to Mark D with the C, one of my best buds. It's going to be fun tonight. Oh my gosh, I'm anticipating this conversation. And of course, just send a huge hug and a smooch for a Clobby's cheek, because I just love you so much, sweetheart.
Love you.
Let's do it.
Yeah, yes, indeed. Great chief engineer. Any words?
Yeah, you're not getting a kiss from me, so don't ask. But yeah, hell to you.
You should clip that line from Captain America: First Avenger. I'm not kissing you.
I'm not kissing you. Yeah, all right. I'll add that to the clip.
That would be so cool.
To the clip list. I do have a file I call the clip list. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll add that. That's a good one. Good one to add. Yeah, but no, hail everyone. Yeah, always have fun. It's kind of a sad night though, because it's the last episode of UFO. Unless we rewind and start at episode number 1 again. Not to bring everyone down. I apologize.
That is a bummer.
Show, but
no, it's a bummer.
You're a killjoy, Mark D with a C.
That's a legit bummer.
Yeah, but you can always start back at number 1 again, right? But,
like me. I mean, I do. It's good.
Yeah, rewind, be kind, rewind.
Right.
That's right.
So yeah, no, just looking forward to hanging out tonight, and we got a good Star Trek comic and Tales of Tomorrow episode with Boris Karloff on that.
Oh
one,
man,
so.
Yeah. I watched a different one than you.
Oh no.
What'd you watch?
Really?
I 100% did. I went to the spreadsheet.
Yeah, the spreadsheet was marked wrong. I fixed the spreadsheet and I put it in the Clubhouse. Because we hadn't watched that episode before.
I do my prep the night before, so I didn't see it until like 20 minutes before the show.
Oh, well, we can skip it till next week.
Yeah, we can skip it till next week.
We could skip it.
We got plenty to talk.
We could, because we got these 2 things, and you know what else? Tomorrow is officially Star Trek Day, which yesterday for you Canadians was Star Trek Day.
Yes.
In the middle of the 2, we can just think about that thing we love to talk about sometimes in Star Trek. So I don't have any pictures made up for it or anything, but what the hell?
Let's do it.
So anyway, but continue, Mark.
Well, I guess that was a snafu on my end with the spreadsheet. I guess.
No, it's not. When my husband saw the spreadsheet, he's like, "Are you serious? You, Mark, and Clobby have a spreadsheet for the shows you watch?"
No, not me.
I'm like, yeah. And he's like, "You guys are so cool."
Not me.
Spreadsheets are cool.
I'm no spreadsheet. I'm not a spreadsheeter.
Yep.
Spreadsheets are cool. Like fezzes are cool.
A short shift shrifter sheeter, maybe, but
Okay, so we'll scrap Tales of Tomorrow for tonight.
that's fine. Just makes
I'll
it
have
last
to
a little
watch
longer.
which episode was it?
Past
It
tense.
was- It's
With
actually
Boris-
I past tense. I actually put it in the
It's in the chat.
I pinned it to the chat too. Actually,
Right.
too. I was getting
Okay,
fancy
okay, I'll
dancy
go
if you
get
see
it. I'll
that.
go get it.
with
and it's in the
Boris
show notes,
Karloff. Yeah.
Okay.
Anything
You
else,
look like
Marco?
Boris Karloff.
Oh,
and
no,
you
that's-
don't even care.
Oh,
I
and
love
I can
Boris
show
Karloff.
if we have extra time, I can show a couple pictures from the pig roast I did on Monday. I mean, it is the clubhouse, right?
I don't know about doing
Yeah.
any fooding here tonight, but we may allow it later.
Yeah,
Ooh,
maybe
ooh, look
maybe
at
a
the
few
chat.
minutes
Look
at
at the
the
chat.
end. Yeah. Yep, Max
Look.
Redstone's here.
Okay, you put that up on the marquee.
I knew he was here. I saw him earlier.
Yay!
He's
But
member for 12 months. He said, OFC date, I am past 90% recovered. That's all right. Oh, man. Max, that's fantastic, buddy.
nice job,
Very good,
sweetheart.
very good.
Any more? Or
Nope,
you good?
I'm good. I'm just getting the slideshow ready for you folks. I guess maybe we'll do that first after we
Yeah,
say
we'll do,
hello to
yeah,
everyone.
that'd be fun.
Yeah.
We'll-
Hey, you
know,
got
we-
any show notes or shout outs, boss?
Yes, I do.
Oh,
but
and I got to
should-
shout out. Oh, I got to shout out my Patreons before I get
Oh,
you.
yes,
what I'm
yes,
saying.
do that.
Yeah, I've my Patreons. Thank you very much. Are Shooter, Brian Hepburn, Rob Altus, and Larry. And I can actually reapply to be a YouTube partner in 3 weeks again. So yeah,
Ah,
the summer went by fast, but hopefully that'll go well. I tried to be not so commercial in all my latest videos, so we'll see how that goes. Yeah,
Don't they
Well,
know
there
that
you go.
you're the king of enabling?
I know, but I guess they didn't like it because it was allegedly with all this comic.
Does
book
it
stuff
work if you
geared
tell
towards
them
the
that you're
youngins.
our Star Trek, you're our ship's quartermaster, and it's your job to acquire things for us?
Yeah, right. Really? Yeah, I'll try that one. See how it works. Yep.
well.
Ooh,
Thank
you
you,
got a
thank you,
gift.
Michael Beacom. Appreciate you, sir. That's very generous of you. For the super chat, he says, "Yeah, I love September 8th. It's when I got to go to my daughter and say, this is a very important day, one that
Oh.
changed my life. The anniversary of Star Trek. Oh, and your birthday too. I'm sure she appreciates that. I'm sure she appreciates that, buddy.
I would love to meet Michael and Cassandra Beacomb's kids. Like when he was watching UFO, and I think it was his son, he walked in behind him and he's like, "What are you watching, Dad?"
You know, by the way, Don, we will continue to extract. Good to see Don Ranger. This is not the day before Star Trek Day, in a sense. This is the day between Star Trek Day, because as few know, our wonderful friends in Canada got the Man Trap in 1966 aired on the 6th of September.
That is
And of
correct.
course-
Oh, they got it before us.
Right, the rest of the world got it on the 8th, so we've just always known it as the 8th as Star Trek Day. So you can look at the 7th as the day between Star Trek Day, just for the fun of it, because it's valid. That is valid that it aired first there. And
Usually it takes forever to get stuff to Canada. How'd they get Star Trek first?
I don't know what happened.
Because we're better than you.
There
No,
you go.
I'm kidding.
Oh.
I'm kidding. I
Well,
love
Canada was
Americans.
actually
You are
voted
better.
the number 3. Was it number 2 country? Switzerland was number 1. Was Canada number 2? I think the U.S. was number 6. Where to live?
Well,
There you go.
you know,
Anyway,
I still love all my American friends.
Thanks. So, shout outs. It is time for the show shout notes. Okay. Tomorrow night I'll be joining my great friends Gaff Joke J-Man on his channel. It'll be 7 Eastern, 6 Central. Damn it, Central. Whatever, any 6 you want. 666. With the great Sean as well. We were covering Kirby's. We're reviewing Kirby's Fourth World, and having this is I think our week 4 of it, and having a
I
blast.
love
doing
those
so.
nerds.
I love reviewing with those nerds. Those guys are great, cool guys, and I
They're-
claim them. I claim them for the geeks. Sorry,
No, I claim them for the nerds,
put
and I
them-
also claim them for the Canadian nerds.
I claim them as Canadian geeks, and I'm clear on my team. Like remember when we're sitting there choosing the team. Remember, you get to choose one, and I get to choose one like at school.
It's
I
true.
get
Dodgeball.
I picked that one. I picked Jay. And
Get
picked,
those nerds! Nerds!
yes. but I'm claiming them for the gigs. Anyway.
So you get Jay this time, but I get Sean, and then we'll flip next game.
Oh, we may have to, I don't know, custody argument there. My buddy Nick Weiser will not be on tomorrow night on Friday nights, but I'll shout it out anyway because most Friday nights he is on with the Comic Shop Talk, which is cool. And of course, in a world where we watch Star Trek, it is Saturday night Star Trek.
Dun, 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 dun.
Times. Yes, indeed. 4 more episodes of Star Trek Voyager. Yes, so that will be thrilling. We've been having a fantastic time every week, folks. You're all just so much fun hanging out with you.
We're really going to cross the threshold into one of the greatest episodes of all time in Star Trek.
Yes, this is going to be a special week, I dare say. Then after that, if we survive, we'll be hanging out at Saturday Night Geekery on the great Mark D's channel, 10 p.m. Eastern. And it might get a little bit hungry over there.
Yeah, the pig roast.
Might be some eatery going on, just saying.
Yeah.
And then Monday night I'll be over there, J-Man's channel again, reviewing Legion with those two great fellows with our chronological whatever Legion of Superheroes. So there, that much fun. And let's do some shout outs.
Boss, before you do your shout outs, I just want to let you know that Max Redstone is going to go to sleep so that he remains on the road to complete recovery. And he also wants to have enough energy and be 100% for Saturday night. So he's just saying good night to everyone.
All right, buddy.
Maximum Redstone, thank you so much for joining us, sweetheart. I'm so happy that you are on the mend. Go and have a good sleep, and we will see you on Saturday night, sweet friend.
All right, Music Meister. Great to see you, buddy. Music Meister. All right. All righty then. Whether they're here or not, they get the shout out. They are our gallant wrenches who do all of it so much for us. Eric K., the bronze wrencher of bronze. Yes, I know. I like to say he is the bronze wrencher of bronze because I've just gotten a new job with the Department of Redundancy Department. And if anyone knows who Firesign Theater is, they'll get that one. And if they do know who Firesign Theater is, then they get it a life. But I don't have one, so I can know. See? There you go. That's how it works. That works. The extraordinary Chris Persia, the Vindicator Wrench of the Great White North. Thank you so much for all you do, buddy.
And also a huge supporter of indie creators in our community, and also a huge supporter of one of my best friends in the whole world, Clobby. Chris is always out there sharing Clubby's channel. He's always promoting it and handing out memberships to folks and making these beautiful advertisements that he splashes all over his socials. Yes. And it's just, Chris Persia is a very special friend to this channel. We just really love this guy a lot. Loyal, true blue friend. Thank you, Chris.
Yep. Indeed. Thank you so much, buddy. The great Wrench of Iron, D. Bud Martin, buddy. Hope you're out there. Hope you're doing well, my friend. Lord Thoth, God of the Wrenches. Avon lives. Long live the Legion, my friend. And shout out to the lovely, beautiful Lady Thoth. Hope you are doing well.
Yay.
Indeed, man.
Cheese for Lance.
Peace for Lance. Whatever she said. Gasp. Choke. It is. J-Man, the Wrench without fear, my partner in crime on Earth B. Oh, I forgot to shout out. It's not Legion this week. It's Earth B this week. Damn it. Damn me. No, I'm sorry.
Well, I like that you remembered. That's good.
Yeah, after I did it 20 minutes after I remembered it. Damn it. But I'll fix it up later. Okay, so it's Earth B this week. We're back to Bob Haney.
Earth B.
And anyway, so the great J-Man. Appreciate you, buddy. And of course, he is the master of the Claboni, the comic artist extraordinaire, Hungry Boy. And of course, cover artist of the great book, Science Fiction Tales by R.M. Briggs.
Beautiful painting. Thank you, HB.
Stephen Callell, Super Wrench.
Real soup.
Phantom Outside Yuri.
Fanty.
Maddie's Daddy, Reach Me On Ya, and Thor in Vegas. And again, the aforementioned Music Meister. Redstone.
Maximum Redstone.
So let's see who is with us in the chat, you wonderful friends out there. We like to get all those wonderful wrenches and everyone shouted out, but we like to get you all shouted out. The clubhouse is for you. It's for all of us just to hang out and talk to you, hang with you, and we shout you out because you're part of the team, and we really appreciate you. So let's go ahead and do that now. We got the Gwagnar. I got to talk again. Thank you all, by the way, who showed up. I've seen my dumb memory. Who showed up Tuesday night for the members stream. It was a lot of fun. Gwag, whole time. Thanks for hanging, Gwag. Appreciated it. Appreciate all of you who hung out with us.
What does Gwag sound like in real life?
Sounds like a suave and debonair individual. Suave and debonair. Superhero for all time. I'm a guy. I don't care what. I'm a guy. I don't care what other dudes sound like. So I don't know. I was just making it up.
I just wondered if he sounded like the creature from the Black Lagoon.
Well, he's not going to use that voice. Of course, that's a disguise. He disguised his voice.
Oh, he disguised his voice as human.
Right. He didn't use his Black Lagoon voice.
I knew it.
Which was I understand him. I understand his reasons. Doc Fortune. Hey.
What's up, Doc?
Yeah. What's up, Doc? Princess Freona.
Curtsy. I'm sending a curtsy.
Good to see you, Princess. I wish you'd have joined us the other night at the thing, but you at least popped into the chat, so appreciate you on that. Thank you so much. Hope you're having a great night, my dear. Michael Beacom, again, thank you for the super chat, buddy, and thank you for being here. Shout out to Cassandra. Let's see here. Susan Eckstein. Hey there.
Hey, Susan.
Welcome.
Is it Suzanne?
Suzanne. Sorry, Suzanne.
It's Suzanne.
Right.
Yeah,
it's Suzanne. My apologies, Suzanne. I'm an idiot. I don't pay attention.
I love that name. That's a beautiful name, Suzanne.
It is.
Yeah.
Sean Carter.
Carter from Mars.
Good to see you, buddy. Keely Chow. Roll that tide, Keely.
Roll tide.
You rolled this week. Will you roll next week? I'm kind of concerned for you there. I can't lie to you,
rolling. Keep that Keely rolling.
What was that? He said earlier, Max said, is it just me or does it seem like Clobbering Times is calling StreamYards directly to see who is on right now? And I don't know. It must be just you. I'm not sure what that means. Ravenscroft.
Hey, nice to see you. Thank you for joining us.
Interesting question, though, Max. I'm afraid I don't have an answer. Dave C. Long time no see. Kimasabi.
Mark, thank you so much for putting Sean Carter from Mars's channel in the chat.
Yeah,
look,
no problem.
The sci-fi model guy. Can I just say,
oh yes,
I have an NX-01 from Sean Carter from Mars with a light kit. It's gorgeous. He just gave it to me as a gift because he's just a nice friend. He does beautiful work. You should sub his channel, everyone.
Yep. What's that there? Picasso, good to see you. It's time to play the music. It's time to light the lights. It's time to meet together. Clubhouse tonight. I like it. Brian Hepburn, what is up, butter?
Evening, Brian.
How you done? Be up and hill. Ravenscroft. Hey there. Simply Steve, what is up, old chum?
Hey, Steve, nice to see you, sweetheart.
Yeah, old pal. Simply Steve's been a pal since day one. Since I moved to, I came to YouTube. I think he has. He had different names.
Been around a long time.
I think he has. He is one of the buds. We love you, brother. Good to see you.
Yeah, a long time friend of ours. Yep.
Indeed, a good buddy. Penny's here. Hey, Penny.
Oh, good evening, Penny. Thank you for joining us.
Indeediousness. Good to see you. Claude Saling. Hey, Claude. Good to see you. Welcome. And there's J-Man in the chat too. Gasp. Choke.
Don't forget to follow J-Man to his Amazon store. Buy his books if you like horror. And you could get some really cool poetry too, because his wife is an award-winning poet here in Canada. So, Jay isn't just a nerd, or as Clobby likes to call him, a geek. Clobby's trying to claim him for his team.
Oh yeah, of course.
He's also yeah, he's also an author and a heck of a nice guy. So don't forget to follow Jason, and don't forget to follow Sean. Follow them both. Follow them.
Ezra Goldstein Kimasabi. What's up?
Shalom.
Shalom, shalom, shalom. Don Power Ranger. What's up?
Power Ranger.
Good to see you, buddy. Mighty Orbots, good to see you. Hey
Oh,
there.
good evening.
All right, let's see who else we've gotten up here. Bum, 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 bum. Womp, 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 womp. Womp, bum, 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 bum. I just slipped to one. I default to certain scrolling music. I'm sorry.
Scrolling, or scrolling.
Scrolling NFL Films music. John Rupers.
Reagan?
I think I already said Princess Fiona, but I'll say it again because it's Princess Fiona.
You did.
It's okay to say it twice.
And I'm sending another curtsy. I'm curtsying, darling. Curtsy.
Two curtsies tonight.
I am sorry. No, don't worry about that. Look, Princess. No, she said you were joining us by being in the chat. That's perfectly fine. I'm just saying that you're also more than welcome to join us on the stream if you, like I say, if you feel like it. There's no pressure. So, but like I said, we would love to have you. But hey, you're there in the chat. That's all that matters because you're there with us. Like right now, you're
some
with
people
us.
don't want to go on camera
Right.
on screen or
I don't do camera, but
It's true. It's true.
Oh, she said by the time I figured out you guys. Oh, I got you. Well, that's no biggie. But look, next time, and I'll be doing one next week. I mean next month. Excuse me, next month. You and everyone else who's a member is free to come on there and just hang out and talk. But there's some who know that, but they don't feel like being on they don't like streaming with others for various reasons, and that's perfectly fine too. Hey, you're here, and that's all that matters. Lemon pie.
I want a slice of lemon pie.
I want lemon pie now. Thank you.
I want lemon pie with meringue.
Me
With
too.
meringue.
Me too. But yeah, no, hey, it's always cool, Fiona. Just like I said, would love to have you on there. How do I do that? What software is needed? Oh, well,
you don't need software. That's the beauty of it. You just
all you need is
a computer or a phone.
Well, you need a headset or a phone. And that's about it. Yeah, you follow the link. You go to the link, and I put a link in the community, my community page, and it brings you right to there, and you can
make sure that you wear a headset. So you want to, no matter which device you use, whether that be a laptop, a desktop, or a phone, make sure that you use a headset. Otherwise, you will get horrendous feedback, and it will be horrible for you.
Yeah, obviously you need a mic and a headset, but that's nothing fancy. You don't need. Doesn't need to be that.
It's built into most headphones nowadays. All you have to do is just get some little earbuds and plug them in.
Yeah, well, you mean the mic? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's nothing fancy unless you plan on doing a show or something.
But
yeah, you're
I think
always
they have
welcome.
the earbuds with the built-in microphone. I think they actually have them at the dollar store now. I think they're $3 or $4 at the dollar store.
Yeah, or you just use your phone with the mic in your phone, which is probably pretty good. And as long as you have AirPods in, or what do they call them? AirPods, earpods, whatever the heck, or headphones.
Says I have to put clothes on. There were no such restrictions on my channel, but I mean, I'm just saying. Wait a minute. Do I have to have clothes too? I did not know. No one told me that anyone had to have clothes on and doing on YouTube. Now I guess
worldwide pants.
We're all in trouble now. Now there's no such restrictions there, Princess. Anyway, so let's see here. But Michael Beacom says a very nice headset, but regrettably it reproduces my voice perfectly. Oh, hey, listen, hey man, listen to my garbage voice, and I'm out here. So if you can do it, we can all do it.
Get out of here!
I have a horrible voice.
No, you don't. Shin kicks.
No.
Agonizer, please.
I happen to be an expert on my own voice. Thank you. But anyway, point is, everyone. In all seriousness, though, most people hate their own voice, or not most. Some people have egos, but I'm just kidding. Some people just don't like the way they sound. I always hate mine. There are a lot of people that will tell you that whether they're actors who can't watch their own movies and stuff, or people who do shows, radio shows, or whatever, that can't listen to themselves. I'm that guy. I never go back and listen to myself. I can't stand to hear me. I hate my voice. I hate it. So that's just me. But here I am doing it. I'm throwing my voice out there, right? So just throw it out there, and people will say, "What? It doesn't sound the same to everyone." Is that fair enough to say? Number one, it doesn't sound the same to you as it does to everyone else.
Yeah, everyone hates the sound of their own voice. Everyone
Fair
does,
enough.
but
Well,
everyone needs to realize that you sound perfectly fine to all of us. You sound wonderful.
Except for Narcissus, he likes the sound of his own
except for the
voice.
big narcissist thing. Like
Yeah, the people who really like
that just goes
themselves a lot, they tend to see no flaws whatsoever. So I tend to gravitate towards those who have at least a teensy tiny bit of self-loathing. Got to
But
keep it in
basically,
check.
as Blackadder said, typical master criminal loves the sound of his own voice.
Yeah, I've never re-listened to anything that I've ever done, whether I was on stage, when I had appearances on TV, when I was on radio. I on the radio, I never listened to myself. I hated it. There would be no way I would ever listen to myself on the way home. I'm good. I said what I said. I'm good. I'm not a person who goes back and listens. Nope.
Well, I guess I'll just excuse me before we get down to it. I just wanted to tell everyone that express my apologies, as Blackadder would say. My apologies for having to cancel last night's show. Was something that could not be helped. But everything's good, getting it taken care of, and seeing to it. Obviously, I'm here now. You hear me? Hopefully, I'm at least close to my old self. Working on it. Some things, issues here and there, but I'll as soon as whatever as things develop, I shall keep you posted. But tonight we just want to have a fun show. But I want to thank everyone who reached out and expressed concern and everything like that. It means the world to me that you did that. And I appreciate it. But I'm here, baby. I'm here to have some. Here to have some.
You're damn right.
Fun. So there. Fun. That's right. That's what I was looking for. Fun.
Yeah.
So,
and everyone at home, take that to heart, and don't worry, and everything will be okay.
Excellent. Well, so since we've got, I don't know how many episodes we have left of Tomatoes of Tomorrow. We'll just scoot that back.
I think, or 5.
Right. We'll scoot that back to next week.
Yeah, we're gonna have to rewatch different episodes.
I found another episode that I thought was lost, although I don't think it's going to be that good. It was remember the 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. There were 2 episodes. The Chase.
Yeah.
Tubi. I went back to Tubi to check to see, double check the episodes, and actually they have that episode now. And how everyone else had the same episode. So the Chase is I didn't have I skimmed it, so I didn't have a chance. But it looks like it's a separate episode, so that's appeared episode 17, I think.
Get out of town.
Of the Captain Nemo story, because the second one we gave like an F, like a really bad review. But so I don't know how the first one is, but I skimmed it. So heads up, everyone, go check Tubi, and then Raquel, if you look at that episode, maybe we can do that episode as well. I guess.
Let's do that.
The found
please.
episode. Yep. But yes, I found that the other night.
Wow. Well, there you go. Okay, so what we'll do tonight, since it's probably for the best anyway, because we only have one more to go, and it's tonight of UFO. So
we can do extra coverage. Yeah.
Right. We'll do this episode, and we can do a little back. It'll allow us to spend some more time. Paying homage to this show that we love so much, UFO. So how about that? That's kind of a good idea anyway. We probably should have done it that way anyway. Planned it that way, actually. So what about it? Shall we?
Yep. You want to get the slideshow going?
Yeah.
This is UFO time. This is The Long Sleep. This is season 1, episode 26. There is no, this is the international 26. So there's no ITV, no prod order. None of that stuff applies. This is the final episode, and it does not move no matter which order you're watching it in. And this was first broadcast on March 14th, 1973. And now I'm going to throw it over to Mark. And Mark do you have the golden book? Have you put on your gloves? Avert your eyes when you open that book, young man.
Don't even look at it.
Don't even look at it.
Yeah. Do I still have that clip up there? Don't even
Mark's
look at
going to
it,
go ahead and read. And Mark, don't forget to stay copyright compliant. Give him the author and the title.
I shall. Yep. So here we go. So The Long Sleep, and this book is called The Complete Book of Jerry Anderson's UFO by Chris Bentley, forward by Straker himself, Ed Bishop, and it was published. What year was this published? This is one of the last times we'll be reading from. Well, 2003 was Ed Bishop's forward, and published in 2003. All righty. I think I read
And
the
don't
forward
forget
at
to
one
give the
point, didn't I?
page number.
I'll give the page number. Didn't I read that? Maybe we'll read the forward again later because we're closing down this UFO until maybe we'll revisit it in a few years again. But the page number is, excuse me, we are on The Long Sleep, which is page number 144.
And that
it's this.
is full citation, everyone out there.
We're fully cited. Raquel's excited.
We're fully
Right.
cited. That gets me excited.
Hey, Matt G, by the way.
Matt G.
Matt
Right.
G.
So let's see if I had that that clip here. Okay, so let's get a reading, I guess. Yep. So let's see. Oh, here we go. I got to play that one clip. Yeah. Don't even touch
it. Don't touch it. I wasn't gonna touch it.
There we go. All right. We got Spinal Tap leading us into the UFO. So here we go. So The Long Sleep, teleplay by David Tomlin, directed by Jerry Sumners.
David Tomlin, prisoner guy.
There you go. That's why this episode seemed very prisoner-esque. Yep. Has woken from the coma that she has been in since she was accidentally knocked down by Straker 10 years ago driving a white convertible Mustang. I think it looked like a 66, but I'll check again the slide. I just added that because I'm a Mustang guy. As she was the main witness to a UFO sighting, Straker reopens the inquiry and visits Catherine at Harville Hospital, where Dr. Jackson explains that for her, the incident happened only yesterday. Straker encourages her to remember how she met a young man called Tim, who took her to a farmhouse in the country. While under the influence of hallucinogenic drugs, I think this is a very anti-drug episode, they discovered aliens burying a device in the cellar of the farmhouse. Catherine removed a cylinder from the device and hid in the loft where the aliens chased Tim onto the roof. But I just got to add, they're on a major drug trip there, and they think it's all a game.
Yes.
They have no idea what's going on, and they don't think it's aliens. They think it's just people in the space, or they even know what's reality and what's not. So they kind of put.
Yeah, they took they took the bad stuff, and yeah, it's not good.
Yeah, they had a bad trip. Yep.
No, they're sort of like in a cross between Teletubby world and Barney the dinosaur world. So things aren't good for them.
They're not good. Yep. Just say no. But Tim apparently fell to his death. The aliens knocked Catherine out. When she woke up, she saw the aliens dragging Tim away, and then a UFO taking off. Realizing that the alien device was probably a bomb and the cylinder a vital component to detonate it, Straker urges Catherine to recall where the farmhouse is. She remembers getting a lift from a truck driver who attempted to bleep her, and then she ran into the road in front of Straker's Mustang as she tried to escape. But she cannot remember what she did with the cylinder. Later, Catherine is surprised to receive a visit from Tim, who tells her that the aliens revived him on board the UFO and sent him back to find the mechanism. He injects her with a drug, and it takes as it takes effect, she recovers part of her missing memory, which Tim uses to recover the cylinder. He leaves the syringe with the second dose of the drug in Catherine's room, and despite Jackson's objections, as a doctor, he said it was unethical possibly to give her this drug. Foster insists that it is used to help Catherine retrace her steps back to the
Straker also objects as well. He objects so much, so ethically he has to leave the room
at first. But yeah,
but she agrees to it too. She nods and she agrees to it too. Straker and Foster arrive at the farmhouse, but Tim has already activated the device. There's a struggle and Tim collapses. His body rapidly decays to a skeleton. A major from the bomb disposal squad. Oh, I didn't press play on the slideshow. There we go.
Oops.
Damn it, Mark.
Damn it, Mark. There we go. I'm looking like, we should be into the looking at some of the slides now. Sorry about that, guys. There's your slideshow.
No apologies necessary. We're just happy to have the slideshow. Thank you for preparing it for us.
You're welcome. Yep. Okay, so where was I? Here we go. So there's a struggle and Tim collapses and his body, rapidly decays to a skeleton. Yep. Look like Pirates of the Caribbean there. A major from the bomb disposal squad attempts to deactivate the device, but has no success until Straker realizes that sunlight falling through an open window is destabilizing the explosive chemicals inside. He covers the device with a jacket so it can be safely ferried into space and detonated. Straker returns to the hospital to find Catherine has died of extreme old age. Jackson surmises that the aliens took Tim's extra years from Catherine while she was unconscious in the loft, enough for him to have lived on borrowed time for another 50 years. So basically taking his life force, so she ended up looking like the deadly years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So here are the notes. Yep. David Tomblin's original script differed drastically from the finished episode in a number of respects. Straker went to the farmhouse in the 1970 to investigate reports of a UFO in the vicinity, but in the interim, he has forgotten its location and isn't noted in the report of the incident. All he knows is it's somewhere near Dunstable. As he arrived at the farmhouse, he saw Catherine running away and gave chase, trailing her to London. There he witnessed an attempted grape by a lorry driver with whom Catherine had hitched a lift. Straker gave the man his just desserts, but Catherine panicked and ran off, boarding the Underground. The Underground is a train in London or England. Straker followed, but lost her when she left the train at Edgware Road. Catherine dropped the cylinder from the bridge over Little Venice, and then, still in a panic, ran to the road and was knocked down by a bus. Tim traced Catherine to the hospital with his medical background, managed to get a job there so he could be on hand when she revived. Realizing Straker had fallen in love with Catherine, Foster hides the true nature of her death from him, leading him to believe that the second dose of the drug killed her. Straker never sees the body. Oh, wow. Catherine's surname was originally Ross, and Tim was originally Tom. I don't know why that Straker would have fallen in love with Catherine. That's a little creepy in this script. If someone...
That was a good cut.
Oh, yeah, that was a good
cut. That crap out right now.
Yeah. He felt... I like it better the way he felt, almost a responsibility for her.
Yeah.
Felt, if anything, he felt as just as a human being, felt horrible for her in her circumstance.
Yeah.
And then here again, these aliens causing these horrible things, more of a fatherly type thing. Anything else? If this was the vibe I got, yes, she's a beautiful young woman and all that stuff, but Straker's he's too advanced for that kind of crap. He's too.
Yeah, that's a bad. Good change there. Although I thought maybe it was
level, the IQ even, like, what would they talk about? I mean, I'm not totally against age difference. If somebody's young and brilliant, okay, I guess. But if it's very clear that one person, is ready for romper room, and the other person is trying to be 18 chess moves ahead of aliens, what would they have in common? I'm so glad they cut that. You cut that crap out of here.
Yeah. So let me continue here. We got a couple more paragraphs. Catherine's close encounter at the derelict farmhouse takes place on March 30th and 31st, 1970. Catherine was knocked down 3 days after the earthquake in Western Turkey that year, which Straker mentions is possibly an attack by the aliens. He says, really? Her memories of what happened to her 10 years ago are presented in sepia monochrome until she begins to trip on Tim's pills, when the picture returns to full color, overlaid by colored filters, which is very trippy and very well done. The houseboat where Catherine disposes of the alien mechanism is owned by one C.J. Tucker, according to the boat's postbox on the canal bank. The main entrance and foyer of L&M stage administration block at Pinewood Studios doubles as the entrance to the intensive care unit at Harville Hospital. Part of the ornamental garden at the studio's Heatherton Hall appears as the grounds of the hospital. The scenes of the derelict farmhouse were filmed at Coach House of Dromong Farm in Ivor Heath, less than a mile from Pinewood Studios. Surprisingly, the building is still standing, has been considerably renovated in recent years, so we can go there. Yep, and check for UFO bombs. Yep. Although shown as part of Anglia's first run of the series in 1971, was the only episode of UFO to premiere in a late night time slot. Other regions, notably ATV, did not screen the episode until 1973.
Probably
So,
because of the drug stuff in it.
Yeah.
Maybe, yeah. So that's maybe why. Maybe it aired later there. So this episode premiered 11 p.m. Thursday, April 1st, 1971, as I said, and then UK network premiere 12:20 p.m. Saturday, August 28th, 1999, BBC Two. I guess I guess they're considering that as the premiere, but that's station there. Yep. But
Penny's
yeah,
down for
probably the
night.
drug stuff.
She's off to bed.
Good night,
I'm sorry
Penny.
to interrupt,
night,
Mark.
Penny.
I beg your forgiveness, but Penny, good night, sweetheart. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yes.
Sleep sweet.
Thanks for being here, Penny. Good night. Have a great one.
Yep. Have a great night. Yep. So I'll wait for I guess we'll talk about the episode a little bit, and then I can read the oops and the guest cast. But I just want to say this was a trippy episode. The other thing that's, the episode just ends. You know, today you always get most of the time you get a series finale or something to signify, you know, that's it. And then, you know, just Straker just walks off in the distance, and in the gardens of the hospital, with Colonel Lake, and that's it. I mean, and roll the credits. UFO never has a big explanation before the credits.
Did they know they were canceled at that point?
I don't know. Does someone know in the chat? I'm gonna try to.
Well,
See,
it was
they probably
it was
didn't.
around this time that they were going to be parlaying this show into Space 1999.
Oh,
So
they're already that early? Wow.
Yeah, I think so. I would need to confirm that, but the transition was, you know, it was felt early on, and they knew what they were going to have to do. So unfortunately, we turned the moon into a planet, and took it into we took it like a spaceship.
Most of the time, even back then, most TV series just ended, right? I mean, look how Star Trek.
Yeah, back
ended
then most of them just ended. Right? They never got a warning. They never got a warning.
What was the first one? Does anyone know what the first show they kind of had?
The Fugitive was probably the first one that they knew they were going to end.
Yeah,
and have a conclusion to it, because it wasn't one long story. It was episodic, but but still almost anthology. But they knew they wanted to put a cap on it, because is it the earliest one? I think so, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, that sounds
We have
right.
some clever conversation going on in the chat. Simply Steve says, "Romper room, rubber room. What's the difference, eh?" And Princess Fiona answers very cleverly and almost snorted my tea. The Jello is different. That was very good. Sassy pants. I enjoyed that banter very much. And then Fanti says, "What did we learn from this episode? That you can be in a coma for a decade and get to walk around?" That is incorrect, sir. Incorrect. She does not walk around. She is in a wheelchair.
Yeah. She probably looked better than that was one thing, but I can't really fault the episode. She probably looked a little bit better than she would have for being in a coma for 10 years, but they did at least have her in a very weakened state and in a wheelchair in that one.
And they were dealing with alien, the aliens chemical or medicine did it to her as well.
Yeah. Yeah, and I didn't get to do a watch party tonight because I had a scout meeting and get back late enough. But maybe
damn it, Mark!
Damn it, Mark, being responsible. So
engineers,
like 3 or 4 episodes.
Love to change things.
3 or 4 episodes we missed. So sometime along the line, maybe we'll just do random watch UFO watch parties just so we have all the episodes covered. But yeah, sorry about that, guys. I couldn't.
I will be rewatching UFO for the rest of my life. I've already been watching it for I don't even know now. 2 years. I don't know. 3 years. I don't know. I discovered it and I was like, what is this beautiful thing? Because, I live in Canada. And I grew up in the 70s. Welcome to the land of 2 channels in English and 1 channel in French.
Can you watch it on Amazon or Roku channel, or is that banned in Canada?
Roku has it.
No, I get it through my Fire TV, and it is provided by Amazon.
Amazon.
Larry's here.
Sorry, Larry.
Perfect. He loves it.
I bet he doesn't. But anyway, go ahead.
He does. He loves Batman.
Well, I know he loves Batman, not my dumb voice singing Larry, Larry, Larry a million times. But good
No,
to see
I'm
you there,
pretty
buddy.
sure you make him laugh.
Welcome, sir. Good to see you.
Hell.
Yep. So this episode, wow. Number one, thoughts on it?
Well, I'll just go through my notes. I love the fabulous banter between Straker and Lake. There's so much sexual chemistry here. I just love it. I love that they try to trick us into believing that Straker may be involved in a cover-up, even though, you know, if you're a diehard Straker person like me, you know that he would never be involved in a cover-up. How could you think such a thing? Shin kicks, shin kicks. Anyways, I thought it was clever and I really like that. Of course, everyone knows that I heart Dr. Jackson. I think Dr. Jackson is the most evil, wicked, secretive, villainous, cool, amazing, principled, ethical. Like he's just all of these things that don't make sense. I love Dr. Jackson. Beautiful and careful dialogue. Straker switching from was to is. The tense is so important here in the dialogue, and it's a nice way to use tense to get your point across. I have so much respect for the UFO writing and editing team. I just love that he does that. You know, where is that barn? It's really showing that there is an incredible eye for detail here, and they treat the audience like grown-ups. So using that tense change to make all of that happen is pretty darn cerebral and pretty darn delightful. I love that the memories are in sepia. I think that that's super cool. And then I just wrote in yelling all caps, "Take your meds, weird boy." I don't know why this girl ever goes with this dude. I know a lot of people did that in the 60s and 70s, but I would have never have gone away with Tim. Tim's a weirdo. And then I wrote hippie hallucinations. And then, of course, I love that she yells through the whole thing, it's pretty funny. I also really love the Iron Butterfly style muzak, and I spelled it M-U-S-A-K in my notes because it is muzak. Inagata Devita, baby. Well, not really Inagata Devita, but certainly inspired by Inagata Devita. So it was groovy. They didn't
And that was
harvest
supposed
her.
the original name of that song was supposed to be "In the Garden of Eden," but because they were so drugged out when they were singing it, that's why it became "Inagata Devita." Just an aside there.
Wow, is that some geek trivia?
That's true.
They
Yeah.
didn't harvest her organs because they could only carry one body. So she got off pretty lucky there. Although we find out that they messed with her body after she passed out. Aliens have earthquake bombs. I think that this is such a cool idea. Science fiction is about ideas. It's not about interpersonal relationships. It's not about crying in hallways. It's not about whether or not you've had mac and cheese before. It's not about that. It's about ideas. And I love this idea of the aliens having earthquake bombs. And then, of course, I wrote in my notes, don't use the serum. Paul is a bad man. Paul is a bad dude. Paul has no ethics. Paul has no morals. F you,
He's trying to
Paul.
save all of England.
Don't
We're
listen
going to
to
blow England
Paul.
in the ocean.
He's got trying to save England.
The good thing, though, is when they get to the farmhouse, Paul goes down with one punch, and I'm like, yes. And then, of course,
Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay. I know.
And then Crazy Bones Tim, this is wild and freaky that he used her youth to stay alive. And I suspect it's because they didn't want Paul to be blamed for the girl's death. But I think, as a professional and university educated editor, that I probably would have said to them, no, just go ahead and make the serum to be to blame for her rapid aging. I think it makes more sense. And I think it speaks more to the power of the aliens. So I didn't like that they saved Paul's bacon and sort of sacrificed incredulity. I just he was using her youth to stay alive. I
Like a
don't know.
vampire. Life
Yeah, I
force.
know, but UFO is not usually like that. UFO is
I know.
really,
Yeah, I hear
it's
you.
really dedicated to that cerebral science fiction, and they only did it to preserve the Paul character, which let him fry. The serum should have been to blame for her rapid
Right.
aging, and I would have fought for that in the writers' room. I also love in this episode, this more of this realistic need to call the bomb squad, and not just any bomb squad, but the shadow bomb squad, instead of a tidy ending where Paul and Ed are able to prevent the cylinder from being activated within the bomb. So I really love that part of this. This is it. It makes it more realistic, and it shows that there is a team. There's a team that
Right.
that is needed here, and everyone has their areas of expertise. But it winds up being a critical thinking exercise where Ed sort of puts two and two together and figures out what feeds that bomb, and covers it with his coat. So but I just the idea of, no, it's not going to be Paul and Ed trying to diffuse this bomb. We're calling Shadow.
Yeah.
They're deploying a bomb squad team. So really good stuff here. Like I said, some really good stuff as not just as a viewer or the audience, but as an author and an editor. And so I'll point them out again. I love that they try to trick us into believing that Straker may be involved in a cover up. When you're kind of like, you get that little pit in your stomach if you really love Straker, and you say to yourself, "Oh my goodness, did they cover up a hit and run? Was he involved in a hit and run?" That's very clever, and I really like that that's included. I love the careful dialogue, and this use of tense, was and is, and shifting that tense to accentuate Ed's care for this young girl, and also the plot, what's happening in this story. And so this is very cerebral. It shows a great deal of respect for the viewers, and I really respect the UFO writing and editing team for doing that. I did like the sepia. I did think the hallucinations were very prisoner-like. I thought that they were super cool. I really love the scientific idea of these earthquake bombs, and this sort of this uneasy feeling that they've been here longer than we would surmise. And that's what writing like that does. Oh my gosh, they've been here much longer than we thought they were. And what's that based on? Not emo mac and cheese and kissing and crying. It's based on the idea of these earthquake bombs. Yeah, and the oh yes, and the bomb squad thing. The bomb squad thing is really great. But like I said, don't save Paul's bacon. Let the girl rapidly age due to the use of this imaginary serum, or not imaginary, but this
We make it
alien.
because it was double dose. Maybe
Yes, a double dose of
dose
the
both.
serum. Have Dr. Jackson turn around and say, "Well, it must have been a double dose that did her in. I warned you. The first dose doubled her pulse." Good. I'm good. Don't save Paul. And that's all I have to say.
You're kicked out as the president of the fan club. I think the membership's going to vote you out.
Could not be reached for further comment. Good to see you, my friend. Welcome. And Fiona, we didn't do we're not doing a Tales of Tomorrow tonight because we watched. We weren't on the same page, so two of us watched one that the other one didn't. So besides, this is the last UFO episode tonight. We thought we'll just kick that back to next week as far as the Tales of Tomorrow is concerned, and we will just take care of have fun with UFO tonight.
And the Star Trek comic.
And the Star Trek comic.
Yes.
And maybe some food later.
Yes.
I don't know
for folks. Yeah, Princess Fiona, there was a mix-up with the spreadsheet. I get to the spreadsheet a lot sooner than Mark and Clobby do,
We're
and
last minute.
Mark made a last-minute change because he's been really trying to help me hunt down these lost episodes and recovered episodes, and so he made one small change, and so I went ahead and I watched The Evil Within with James Dean, and they watched the Boris Karloff episode. I forget the name of it. So that's why we won't be reviewing it. But we'll get to it next week.
First of all, I keep telling you all that spreadsheets for dumbasses. And secondly, will you tell me Boris Karloff is in something? I'm just all I heard. I go, oh, I've got to watch that. Just saying.
Oh,
Yep.
Princess Fiona, I just want you to know how much I appreciate you. I am sending you a third curtsy this evening, a third curtsy, darling, for saying James Bond kills Paul. A
He
few
does.
years later, Raquel, what more do you want? I mean, it really, what could I want
That's,
more than that?
That's the
Bye,
spy.
Paul.
That's the spy who loved me, by the way.
Yeah. And Larry
here-
says,
here-
Paul goes off a cliff in 1977. Good.
And
Well,
here's
bye.
some. I was gonna say, here's the slides where they're in sepia, and then look, it goes to color. So I know the slide shows pretty small on your screen, but because to stay copyright compliant, so they don't ding us. But yeah, that was really well filmed there. That was really well done. The way they went back and forth, really made the episode hit home. And I was waiting to find out if Straker was somehow related to her, or was a niece or something, or maybe even then related to Foster. And they didn't go that route, which they could have, and make it hit. But he's just feels responsible because she ran out on the road, although it was no fault of his own, though.
That would have been
Mark, can I please interject, even though it's terribly rude? I beg your pardon, my wonderful friend. I'm so sorry for interrupting you. But I need to announce this. Michael Beacom is saying good night to Clobby. He's saying
night,
good night
buddy.
to you and good night to me. He's not fully leaving. He just has to exit the chat. He'll be listening to us on the bedroom
cool.
TV. So everyone, Michael Beacom will not be answering in the chat anymore. But so he's not being rude. It's just he switched to TV mode. So sending our love to Michael and Cassandra Beacom. We'll see you at the end of the show, you beautiful couple. Thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for putting us on your TV.
me. Thank you.
Yeah, very cool.
Be seeing
I'm on
you.
TV now.
Be seeing you, sir. Be seeing you.
I feel like Mike TV.
Absolutely.
Anyway,
I think-
please continue, Mark. I'm so sorry.
Oh,
for
I was
interrupting you.
I think I was paused there so you could do that. I'm pretty much. That was my thought, actually. That yeah, they didn't go the route of a relative to that cheap kind of. Oh, it's a long lost niece or something, or someone or
right.
Even worse for you. Imagine if it was someone Foster had been dating, then you would have really been angry, right?
See, I can believe it could have been, instead of being Straker, who's already gone through this with a loved one and stuff like that. If it could have been, it still would have been American TV cheap though. But if it would have Foster had either been just fall in love with her like he's always so want to do, then has to make the choice to double dose her and kill her to save everybody. That would have at least made for some pretty interesting drama. Even if it would have been at the time, I don't know how it wouldn't make it to a matter of priorities level or sitting in the edge of forever priority level, but it would have been along those lines. So there could have been some powerful drama there, I guess. Yeah. But making it Straker would have been really bad either way, no matter how you cut it, whether it's romance or a long lost relative or whatever. Because, like I said, we've already had that with his son. You can't get any worse than that.
Yeah, we've already reached peak Straker's private life. Boss man, you have received a gift.
Thank you,
from the gentleman and scholar we all know and love. We call him Larry. Larry.
Thank you, Larry. Appreciate you, buddy. Appreciate that.
A gentleman so nice, you should say his name twice. Perhaps
Larry.
Larry.
Thank you, buddy.
Larry.
I heard they.
The other moral to this episode is don't meet strange guys playing. What is he playing? Guitar in the square,
especially in the 60s and 70s.
Yeah, no, but everyone did that back then. Remember, like everyone was hitchhiking,
and then just go to a farm with them. Let's go to a farm.
My older sibling hitchhiking all the time at this time. What are you doing? Don't hitchhike. But everyone was doing it. Everybody's doing it.
The other really big, I was gonna say the other really big problem I had with this episode, they're rolling in the hay, so to speak, and all of a sudden he stops and says he can't fall asleep or he can't. Like, what are you doing? What do you mean?
No, he says he's afraid of the dark.
Yeah, but no, I thought he didn't want to roll in the hay during the daytime. Maybe I'm reading it wrong.
I don't know. Maybe we're both reading it right.
Yeah,
I don't know. Maybe it was kind of ambiguous.
I don't know. normally that makes you overcome any fears you may have. Let's just put it that way. She was a cute young lady.
He was a
So
cutie, yeah.
But
yeah.
he
So
was so weird. Like, you knew that he was weird right off the hop, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that was a typical silly ass hippie of the day, right? He's like, he was light, hippie light compared to most of the ones we've seen back then. But yes,
Turn on, tune in, tune
Now-
out.
now this episode, for me, it is really, there's so many great things about it, but there are some stretches you have to make to excuse that story. I mean, and I'm not, by the way, for stories and compelling, and they do a good job with the drama and all that kind of stuff. These are things that, while I may point them out, they don't destroy an episode. For example, how in the hell was that thing sitting in there in that boat for 10 years?
Yeah.
Well, that's the one. That's the thing that makes you stop and go, huh?
10 years.
Most boats usually sinker. Yeah.
And the boat was in that same exact spot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty big leap right there. That's probably the biggest of the leaps, really, that you have to make, because all the other stuff comes down as some chance, but not quite so bad. So I'm going to go ahead and cut it some slack with that one. I'm like, it's asking a lot to think that again, the boat was in the same spot, and
Dumb.
and the object, which is such a weird looking object, you'd think at some point somebody messing around on that boat would go, "What in the hell is this?" Except it would
Hey,
make
maybe I
different
should drink this.
Yeah, what is this thing? Maybe I should turn it into somebody. Maybe I should bring it to the cops. It looks weird. Maybe I should try to bust it open and sell it. I mean, I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And then the by the way, weren't for 10 years now? You telling me the aliens were like skulking about all over the place trying to find that thing, rather than sitting in a hospital waiting?
Yeah. Why couldn't they
the,
just get another device? Right. I mean,
another big point. I mean, can they replace it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's got some leaps.
Yeah, I mean, it seemed awfully easy to get the bomb there, right? I mean, I guess normally they can't get by, or maybe the explanation is they can't get by the interceptors, and that.
Why not try? Yeah, why not try again? If you could put a bomb that could destroy Turkey, that's another thing.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. It was kind of when I first watched the episode, and they said, "Oh, by the way, it's probably these guys who destroyed Turkey in whatever year that was. What year was it? A couple of years ago,
or was just a few months before,
1972 or something, or whatever it was. It was around the same. But in other words, it was. They thought it was just an earthquake, and now all of a sudden we have decided, or we have extrapolated that there is a earthquake bomb.
Mm-hmm.
When we never knew that before about Turkey, and obviously there's no way to prove an earthquake. Why an earthquake happens, I guess. So that was a little bit out there. Again, I'll take it if it's in a good episode, and this one's really good. David Tomlin, of course, another guy who worked on the Prisoner stuff, is a really good writer. So I'm not. I hate to pick up a UFO episode apart, but I do have to say that some of that was a little bit, leaps of logic type stuff. They're like,
Well, this episode deserves to be picked apart, though, because it has lots of stuff in it that, like the boat scene. I cover my eyes for the boat scene.
Yeah. Well, here's the line from the Turkey line. It says, "Do you remember Turkey in 1974? So this is supposed to be 1980. So 80,000 people killed, an entire city destroyed. Yes, but that was an earthquake. The striker was it? A UFO was reported over the area a few hours before the quake struck. Our farmhouse incident occurred 3 days later. Put me through to search headquarters." So that's the line. Yeah, they say the farmhouse incident occurred 3 days later. So that was a UFO that got through the defenses and had a couple of bombs on it.
So what year? 1970?
1974.
Yeah, but
so this.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, and they're saying it's 10 years later.
She was in the coma for 10 years later.
So they're saying this episode takes place in 1984. I don't know. It should have said 1970 then. In the
right.
The show takes place in 1980.
Like the show takes place in 1980, but the Turkey incident, apparently the earthquake, they say it takes place in 84.
74.
I
74.
mean
So
74. Okay.
So, and then they said our farmhouse incident occurred 3 days later in 1974. So that's a mistake in the script.
Yes,
I'll
because it was
check it,
supposed to
but
be. She was in a coma for 10 years.
Yeah.
yes, I'm I'm reading the closed caption. So, do you remember Turkey in 1974? So they should have made it 1970, unless there was a real life earthquake in Turkey in 1974. I can't remember. But yeah, so that's a mistake there.
Well,
If this show,
that's a very, very active earthquake zone. So that would be like it would have to be done by body count. You'd have to say, okay, so what are they talking about? And you would have to look it up that way, one of the larger earthquakes, and look at how many people had passed away, how many lives were lost, and you could
let's
establish
see.
a timeline from there.
Turkey was hit with 40 earthquakes in 1974.
That's what I mean. See what I mean? Very active
Yeah.
earthquake zone.
Yep. So, the worst one was in February of 1974. Let's see. I don't know if it tells me. But anyway, yeah. So that's that's a minor oops, maybe, or should the scriptwriter missed something, or it should have been something a little bit make it 1970 in Turkey or whatever. But yeah. So 1974 there was not a disastrous earthquake like that. I'm looking. Death toll, the worst one was in China in 1974. Unfortunately, 20,000 people died, but nothing in
Okay,
Turkey.
so then it was an in-story thing.
Made up.
Okay, so that's good. That's good.
Yep. So
I'm going to go ahead and give my grade for it. So this particular episode, I give a C+. I'd like to remind everyone that the other episode that I don't like, that I gave a C- is Ordeal, which is season 1, episode 22. It's 19 ITV and prod code 9. And that's the one where it's, like it's Paul's hungover hallucination. Not a big fan of Paul, and I think it's a weak episode. Other than that, the episodes that I've rated are just they're off the charts. They're all A plus everywhere.
We're gonna run through all those, by the way. We're gonna run through all your ratings, by the way.
This is just a beautiful show, but I'm sorry, I just don't find this episode very strong, and I don't think it's worth it to save Paul's bacon. And I also didn't like the thing with the I didn't like the thing where there were a few things that I didn't like. Clubby pointed.
You just don't like it because it's the last episode and you're sad.
No, it's that I think that
joking.
they made some really good choices, but they also made some really bad choices. And the thing with the fuel for the bomb being in that boat on that little creek is just ridiculous. I also, I do object to the fact that Dr. Jackson would even stand in the room as they, inject her with something and they don't even know what it is and he doesn't even know the dosage. I didn't like that. And it's conduct unbecoming Dr. Jackson. Dr. Jackson is like, he's an enigma. He's nebulous. You have no idea. Like his looks betray everything you want to believe about him because he's the perfect Bond villain. And yet in this show, he's a hero and actually a really good man. So I didn't like that. Saving Paul's bacon. What else didn't I like? I also didn't like the fact that the aliens were so slow and nincompooped that they didn't see her put the vial in the room. Obviously, they would have searched the room and would have found it easily.
Oh yeah, when she
hides
it. She hides it right in like an alcove there or something. Yeah.
Yeah. But her mobility, being able to push herself in a wheelchair, I never saw her do that in the episode. It's my understanding that they push her around everywhere. So that's a nothing burger for me. I think that's a false flaw. So I don't really care about that. I think the story is really good, but it just, like Clubby said, they try and achieve too much in a very small period of time, and they just didn't thread the needle. And so here they are poking away at the fabric, and there's no thread in the needle. and I felt that as well. So unfortunately, every show has its sucky episodes, and UFO only
Sure.
has two, and that's basically the same as TOS if you don't include the corporate season. So it's really good stuff. I think it's one of the finest things that has ever been on television, especially in the genre of science fiction. Hey, Turing Machine!
Touring machine. Hello
Yeah.
there. Good. Jake and Kurt, Lions won. I'm about to tell you,
The Lions won?
Congratulations to winning on the road in KC.
How did the
man.
Tigers and Bears do?
And we'll see.
Lions and tigers and bears. Oh
Oh,
my.
my. Congrats, buddy. That's my favorite Lions fan
Wowzer.
right there. And then look,
Wow.
there's no more long-suffering sports fan than a Lions fan. So I'm always feel good for the Lions when they get something. So
Wow.
Nice,
No, they had a
nice.
good run last year. No, we won't
They
talk
did.
anymore about sports ball, but they
No,
were
but
on the rise
that's-
at the end of the season.
I'm
so-
happy for them. And look, we have
Yeah, we
I
like
forgot
JT Kirk. So
I forgot which friend of it is here. So whichever clobberer friend here that is a Chiefs fan. Not, look, sorry about that. Sorry, buddy.
yeah, we don't want to lose you as a viewer.
We don't want to lose you, but we're congratulating the Lions. And quite frankly, you've got 5,000 Super Bowls in the past 4 years, so you're good. It's nice to see the Lions get one. That's all I'm saying. I feel bad for my Lions, but there's no, especially if you're just an NFL NFL football fan, no more long-suffering fan base than the Lions.
What if you're a Jets fan?
Not even worse. No, Lions are
No?
worse.
Lions are worse. Okay.
Oh, dude, 60
Dude.
years, 60-something
Well,
years. and
Jets
they-
are 55.
Lions have
56.
won one playoff game in 60-something years. The Jets
That's true.
won the most
Yeah.
important Super Bowl ever won. The Jets
Yeah,
still
Super Bowl
own.
III.
If they never win again, they own the most important Super Bowl ever. Super
Yeah.
Bowl III. So anyway,
AFC and NFC merger. Yeah.
the merger. So yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, good to see you there, buddy. I'm glad.
Sorry
I knew
about that.
I was thinking of him
Everyone.
as soon as they won that game. As soon as it ran out just now, I was hoping he would come in, so I could congratulate him there. I'd have to give this episode. I'm going to go with a B-. It's got still got a lot of interesting stuff in it, but it's very flawed. They're making some mistakes. Not a top notcher for sure. So yeah, pretty much that's all I have to say about that. What about you, Marco?
Yeah, I'll give it a B. Because I love how great Foster's and just kidding. Yeah, there are a lot of logical problems that this episode has that normally UFO doesn't have. So especially as you said, leaving I guess you're gonna, for lack of a better term, call it the detonator in that boat, and the aliens not finding it, and then not coming back with another. The problem is when you make something seem relatively easy to do, why don't you do it more often? So if that was true that it was Turkey, they should have had a line in there like, "Oh, we've intercepted before, we've learned to detect something," or because it's
We've dug up 4 of these things.
yeah, or like
Just
that
say
was
that.
one, yeah, or that's the only UFO that's one of the few UFOs that made it through, something like that, because it seemed all too easy. I mean, think of it to land on the
Mark,
planet. So
I have to interrupt you, but it's just
Sure.
for 2 wags of a puppy's tail, and I want to apologize for being so rude. I beg your pardon. Princess
No, you're
Fiona
not rude.
says, "Is sports ball a patronizing term used to describe sports to women?"
No.
I just want to let you know now. No, it is not. Sports ball is Clubby's way, many people's way
No.
of describing all
Well-
different sports, and when the people talk about them
No.
out of the context in which they should be discussed. And I would also just like to say that although I was a bit of a tomboy when I was quite little, I absolutely hate sports. I can't stand them. I'm a nerd. I prefer books to sports and stuff like that. And Clobby has always gone out of his way to be super kind to me by not talking about sports ball, or what I call it, sportsing, because he knows that immediately my eyes glaze over and
No.
I start looking around and shifting because I have nothing to add. So he's just
Basi-
being polite and being a wonderful person, and he would never be patronizing to women. He is a Southern gentleman. And so, yeah, I hope that clears that up.
No, actually, and JT is kind of, because there's actually much more elaborate explanation of it. Basically, it's a form of geek snobbery. geeks,
Yes.
just as sports people can would say, "Hey, you geeks, you dress up like that." They make fun of geeks for their things. It's just human nature. People tend to gravitate towards the thing they love, and they tend to be snobs sometimes. For example, JT, let's see what he says. He says, "It's certainly a nerd geek term to try and make fun of the jocks, but
very cool.
but you who got to be careful because when you tick off the jocks, they got to be basically what it really is. Though is this: I don't know why I love football, especially pro football, the way I do. I just always have. I don't like any other sport, but I have other friends, and yet I'm a geek, right? My things are geek things, but I do approach my geek stuff, my old pro football history, as sort of from a geek's a geek's fervor, if you will. But for the most part, there are plenty of geeks who do like a sport or two that also like sports, and then there are plenty of geeks who don't like any sport and think if you like sports, you're just that typical stereotypical jock who picked on them and gave them wedgies and gave them squishies in school. And then there are jocks or sports people who are into athletics or athletic that like geek stuff too and like nerd stuff too. It's really just humans, but somehow
so Clobbering Times, you're saying you're very well rounded. Then you like sports ball. And
I don't think I am. All I'm basically saying is there's some geeks that are such snobs that if you like sports, so they came up with this term sports ball to make fun of you for if you are not just sticking with the geek stuff, if you're not being tribal and only like geek stuff, but like what you like. You don't have to like sports, and also people just don't like it. But in so much so that a buddy, my son has one of these. He's not into any sports, right? So he has this shirt. Someone gave him. It says the word sports on it. In other words, not the New Orleans this or the New York that, or like a team. It just says sports with an exclamation point. Making fun of the sports enthusiast, because that's what that's meant for. And sports ball just came from that. That's all it really is. It had nothing to do with women. I will admit to you, there was a time when I was surprised. I was very young. Well, not too young. Surprised that there was many women who were into pro football as I was. And okay, here's some sexism. Don't get me in trouble. Don't let me get in trouble with this on that. Don't let me get in trouble, number one. But there was a time. Oh, you're gonna hate me. Please don't hate me, number one. I gotta admit this happened now. I'm gonna admit something happened, number one. Please be my female representation on this. My defender. She's not gonna defend me on this one. All right. I once I'm not gonna tell you how old I was because it's only it's been in this century. I met a young woman, rather attractive one, at a Saints game on the road, and we were talking, and we had some conversations that I only have ever, to my knowledge, at that point, I've almost only ever been able to talk about that kind of stuff, that aspect of the game, only ever with dudes. I'd never met a woman at that point that understood the X's and O's and all the intricacies of the game. I said the word met. I didn't say I didn't know that they existed. I said I'd never met one that I knew of. But maybe I had one that I knew. And I was like, and she happened to be cute, so that made it even worse. Like, oh my God. It's just like if I met a chick who loves Star Trek and their comics, that adds to the allure, right?
Yeah.
So I admit to you, number one, there have been times when I didn't think that there was the geek thing. I got over that because I married a geek and had two geeks as kids. So, and that was in the 80s. So I understood early on that there were geek and nerd women, but I didn't think there were that. I knew that women go to these football games and these basketball games because there are hundreds of thousands of people there. Of course, women go, but I didn't know they went to actually, yes, they go to support their team, but I didn't know they went there to be geeks about everything, every little aspect of the game. I'd never met many of those. So now I have. Sorry about that, Fiona. Let's get back to you. After we take this.
Well, before we go any further, I just want to say, that the language of these social groups has actually been studied in social science and documented in social science. So it's not a gender thing. So if you hear nerds and geeks saying sportsing or sports ball, it is a derogatory remark towards jocks or an othering of jocks. Like, it's really important for folks to know that We have in social science studied nerd culture, geek culture, jock culture, headbanger culture, prep culture, goth culture. There are whole books written about goth culture and punk culture. So I don't like sports, not because I'm a girl, but because I'm a nerd. I'm not into sports.
A lot of
I don't
nerds love
enjoy them.
sports, though. A
Yeah,
lot of nerds
I
are big
play.
into sports.
Well, actually, if you look at the studies of the language of nerd groups and their chatter online and the way they speak with one another, they're not into sports at all. They're just not. One of the things that is reoccurring in nerd chatter online and in the things they like when they're exchanging currency as a social group. One thing that is a common occurrence is actually chess. They really like chess a lot. So, but I can actually provide a PhD study, someone's dissertation, and also some a study, a survey instrument that shows a chart that plots the language of nerds, geeks, dorks, jocks, and focuses on the difference between nerds and geeks and how those two social groups are different and how they are the same. And of course, there is some bleeding into other groups, and some people have some interests that aren't completely in line with nerds. But by and large, nerds are a social group. Geeks are a social group. Jocks are a social group, and that's okay. We don't have to be all things to everyone all the time. And I hate sports, and it's not because I'm a girl. It's just because I hate sports.
That's the only reason you'll ever need. Carlos Megas, welcome, by the way.
Hey, Carlos!
Because to me, it sounds saying only that saying or that geeks can't like sports or that nerds don't like sports is like saying, well, only nerds eat chocolate, but geeks only eat strawberry rice cream or whatever. It's like, nah. Some people look geeks just because they can't play the game themselves. Without geeks, you wouldn't have fantasy football, which is a multi-billion-dollar industry. And it's some geeks like to watch baseball, basketball, football.
It's
just true. Sports ball.
But in order to have cohesion, these social groups, they interact and they have known and prevalent behaviors and preferences. So it's something that not one person didn't have come up with a recipe for what's a nerd and then everyone adheres to it. It's actually a very natural thing that the group expresses, and they have commonalities, common interests. So are there outliers or people that have anomalous things that they like? Yes, absolutely. People aren't carbon copies of one another, but there are things that make groups distinct. And I know that online, especially people who really strongly believe in individuality, they are against that sort of talk. But it is a very real thing. There are nerds, there are geeks, there are headbangers, there are preps and goths and punks, and there are these beautiful little social groups, and they have their own things that are their normal currencies or their common currencies, and then the stuff that's sort of out on the periphery. And certainly I must insist that all sources would say that nerds generally have their nose in a book, both male and female, and you will not find them on a football team. They will likely have the manual dexterity of a diseased yak, an IQ of 145 when they're 18, and they're probably studying chemistry. Unfortunately, stereotypes are true to some extent. They just really are. No matter how much folks really, really want to believe that they're a snowflake, I just want everyone to know you're not a snowflake.
Well, Daniel's hot topics. Welcome. Hey there. What? Well, it's very popular. Yeah, sport. Oh, you didn't just keep this going on sports, did you? Oh.
Well, this is probably the best explanation of high school
yes,
culture
we all get the
and
Ferris
groups.
Bueller reference.
Come on.
Well, he's very popular.
Greatest line.
There he had the sportos, the motorheads, the geeks, the sluts, the bloods,
Yep.
the wastoids, dweebies,
Mhm.
dickheads. They all adore him. They think he's a righteous dude. Everyone. I already gave up what the quote was, or I'll throw it out to the chat. Sorry.
Yeah, everyone
love
knows that.
I love that
Everyone
movie.
knows that one.
So, what is your rating of? Did you rate it already, Mark?
I was in the middle of my rating, I think. Yeah.
Oh,
So,
I'm sorry.
no, that's all right. No, yeah. So, hey, we're spending extra time on this. This is
Yes.
last episode.
Yeah,
so,
well, we got time to
yeah.
burn.
We got time to burn. So,
Right.
yeah.
Absolutely.
So it was a B, and I think what I was saying was, it was some of the silliness, but lack of good
Yeah.
writing in terms of plot explanation, where you kind of poke
Right.
holes in things, and sometimes you kind of say, all right, yeah, it's a show about aliens from another galaxy or another solar system. You're letting certain things go, or because they're
Sure.
believable within that universe, and then you got to be consistent within that universe too. That's the one thing. Once you set up the rules, you got to follow those rules, and don't break those rules. Like Doctor Who has that fixed set point in time that he can't traverse or change. Okay, I know they've broken that a few times, but they went through a lengthy explanation to break it. But Doctor Who's got those rules, and 99.9% of the time they follow the rules of the series. Like everyone's upset about Ahsoka because the lightsaber attack didn't kill that I'm forgetting the character, doesn't even matter. So that's when people get upset, when it's like, why did this happen this one time, and you didn't explain it too. So I think that's where this episode misses, but the emotion of the episode really works, and the young lady, when it's time to give her that second drug, they're kind of, she's seen an alien. They're not mind wiping her, obviously, because they don't need to. And her Catherine or Fraser, she kind of nods and she looks and says, all right, give me the second dose, because she says maybe it can destroy all of England, can be destroyed. It's not just as horrible as it would be just a city or a town. Oh, Sabine, thank you, RK. Yep. So so that's where, and she kind of acknowledges, oh, if it kills me, it kills me, but I'll do this. And she's, at this point, she has no family left. She's got her parents are gone, because Jackson has told her that. So the emotion, and Straker, actually, you think Straker would be the one to say, oh, just make the hard choices. I mean, he I shouldn't say let his son die, but he made the tough decision for the good of the planet, and the war against the aliens, to divert that ship, or the plane with the drugs on it, so it got too late to save his son. So yeah, he didn't let him die, but he could have been selfish and just said, send that, get that plane there. Those drugs have to be there. He didn't tell anyone, and we speculated maybe that eventually, he did tell other people, but it's never discussed. You'd see in some shows today, they would have discussed that for hours and hours and hours. So I did like the emotional resonance of the episode, and it's just sad though to have that boom, that final scene, and then that's it for UFO. A couple of one note that was, it's a 66 no, excuse me, a 65 Mustang convertible. I think it's a 8-cylinder. Looked like it had the 8-cylinder badge on the left fender. I'm a Mustang nut, and it had alloy wheels. But that would have been probably not a very common car in England, but was a nice 65 Mustang. Not very good brakes on that car, so you can kind of excuse the Colonel, especially if he's driving it in 1980. So been very old, but yeah, overall it's a good episode with those points, those plot points take it down, especially finding the fuse on a boat years. I mean, boats, if they should have just had her buried or throw it down a chimney or something a little bit more believable, and then do something to detect it. Or why did the aliens come back later to find it, and then detonate the bomb? So that was one of the sad, not sad, misses in terms of plot. But and Larry's got a super chat for you to read, Clubbering Times.
Okay, I got a few of them, but I was going to wait till you got.
Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, so I just saw that pop up. But
You're
yeah,
right
and
there.
I do have. There was a game that's UFO adjacent. We'll show. I want to show after just a couple of seconds.
Okay, well, I'll do these
It's
real
on
quick.
sale.
Then.
Yeah, I do those. Yeah.
Larry, thank you so much, buddy. I appreciate you. Says, by the way, there's more UFO in comics. Just saying, that's true. Thank you. Let's see. Eric K says, "How are you feeling, my friend?" I'm feeling all right, man. I'm hanging in there. I'll just little tonight really well. So that's a matter of fact. I'm pretty little tired, but not that much. So hanging in there. Actually, not that bad at all. Clobby, you debonair devil, charming all the ladies. Oh yeah, charmed her all right. She was charmed. She actually was. She walked me down like a whole big long like we were in this Georgia Dome, and she walked with me the whole time while everybody else took the fast track. I was really old and decrepit, and it was pretty cool. Or at least I was pretending to be for obvious reasons. Kidding. Could not be reached for further. Comment says C+, by the way. You'll shoot your eye out. Thank you, Larry, for the super sticker, buddy. And thank you again.
So I just uploaded this chart. It's from On Geek versus Nerd. This was published, believe, by a couple of PhDs. It's been a while since I looked at this study.
It's not just you with this geek versus nerd stuff?
No, it's been studied in social science. And remember, social science involves psychology, anthropology, sociology.
Oh, boy.
And so there are a lot of people who are very interested in this. So this was a good study that that I read a number of years ago, I think in 2014. It's a wonderful study. And this is a very large and long, I believe, survey and study. So they take all of this information of the language used by geeks and nerds. And so, as you can see, it's not like I was saying, it's not like, oh, if you like Star Trek, you can't be a nerd. It doesn't work that way. But it also doesn't work the other way where you say, well, you know, lots of nerds like sports. No, I wouldn't say that. Certainly, if they do like sports, they're not talking about it. So everything in blue is the language most repeated by nerds. And what is in orange is the language most repeated by geeks. So you can see some wonderful things happening here. There are some things where geeks and nerds almost entirely meet. Chores, vegetables, boobies, groceries, collections, loneliness, teacher, education, music, old school, learning, professor, lecture. So there are some areas.
Did you say boobies?
Yes, where nerds and geeks meet, they come very close to one another. But if you would like to look at the most common things that nerds and geeks are talking about, the people who are actually nerds and actual geeks, this is the language that they're using. These are their most used words, their most repeated, their most shared words. So you can see on the side of nerds, we have super nerdy, you know, cellist, bookworm, glasses.
Cellist, I agree with that. I can picture someone playing the cello with a Band-Aid across their elbows. Yeah.
Yeah, and this is why it's important, because for people to understand that nerds are not just people who like TV. That's not true. They're not at all like geeks. The central focus of nerddom is actually academia. So we can see, you know, big data, books, studious, chess, college, intellectual, salary, Sudoku, lecture, literary, prelims, smart, awkward, grammar, math, calculus, chemistry, Jeopardy, Harvard, scientist, professor, academic, credits, vocabulary, classes, educated, autistic, a GPA, semester, seminary, study mode, neuroscience, biochemistry. These are the things that nerds are talking about, and they're
so the
not
lower left, so the 00, that's the most where they converge. So they converge on chores and boobies and vegetables and groceries. I was having trouble finding the boobies on this chart, but I did finally find them.
Yeah.
I thought it was zombies, but no. So
so as the number gets larger,
it's
you
a
can
divergence.
see, they're no longer related. So it's very geeky to like culture, and to think of
Okay.
yourself as like a cultural curator,
Like
to like
Culture
things that are,
Casino.
yes, like trendy or documentary or web comics or comics in general, right? T-shirts and Etsy and electronics and Google and things like that, right? And
We got to get this chart to Culture Casino.
yes, well, there are plenty of these charts that study language, and that's a part of what I do. That's a part of my work as a scholar. Is these tribes? That's what they're called. They're social groups. So you can clearly see, geeks really love Star Wars, and then we know that there are many studies that show that nerds really like Star Trek, and you can see that it's very geeky to be a cosplayer. Nerds aren't really cosplaying, and guess what? I cosplay, but it's not nerdy to cosplay. It is geeky to cosplay. So the language has been studied, and these groups show cohesion and have cohesion through language and semiotics. So how they dress, their signs, their symbols, their artifacts, and certainly their language. So I just want everyone to know that this is not based on just some crazy no-name lady on the internet. This is based on social science, and it's quite interesting and quite beautiful. And it doesn't make you less individual. What it does is it celebrates the things that you have in common with others, and that's a pretty gosh darn beautiful thing. And that's all I wanted to say, just so you know. And if you want more information on this, I can send it to you. But this is what nerds talk about. And this is what geeks talk about, folks.
So comics are more geeky, I guess. It's under manga and then a comic and toys. More
thank you,
geeky.
Eric, by the way, for the super chat. But Eric
boobies!
Everyone would like to point out boobies.
Yeah.
And JT Kirk said, let me know if you ever need help looking for boobies. So.
Yeah, but it's very common when I'm speaking with my nerd friends to, for instance, bring up Nicholas Carr, and we talk about neuroscience and we talk about how the internet is affecting people's attention spans and their brains. And that's a super nerdy thing to talk about. But a super geeky thing to talk about is culture, comics, Instagram, hobbies, collecting toys, collecting t-shirts, going to comic book conventions. These are things that are super geeky, and this is what people decide. No one, like I said earlier, no one came up with this recipe and said, look, if you do cosplay, you're not a nerd. I'm a nerd. But people in my social group do not cosplay. They don't. Only the geeks that I don't know.
Yeah.
They just don't. And I will admit that there are a lot of nerds that I know, and this might hurt some feelings, but I'm just going to be honest, that make fun of people who read comics. But you know what? I read my first 9 comics this year, or 10 comics it is now, and they're Star Trek, and I love them. But it's okay to love these groups. It's okay to be proud to be a geek. It's okay to be proud to be a nerd. Geeks are culture focused and knowledge focused. They are like encyclopedias of culture, especially pop culture. My goodness, they're just giant brains. And then nerds are focused on academia. They're focused on academia. They are, and the language proves that. Just like punks have a culture, a code that they use when they're communicating their oneness or their inclusion in these groups. Just like a cowboy wears a cowboy hat and a big belt buckle. These are all the semiotics and language of belonging to social groups. And I think that I have talked enough about my scholarship and my nerd crap. So I'm gonna remove my nerd crap now. If you want more information, get a hold of me on Twitter. I'll send you some studies.
Get those nerds! 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 What?
That was the nerd segment brought to you by Raquel and Revenge of the Nerds.
Are we still on UFO? Are we done with it or what?
I'm still UFO. Well, I still have a couple of paragraphs to read. Why don't I read those and we'll
go for it? Because we can
be done with UFO.
Aren't we going to talk about what?
I just knocked over the Silver Surfer getting the book.
Shame on you. Your agonizer, please.
Are we gonna go over like just like a series recap, like run up the episode? Maybe we could just like give our I don't know, show the ratings of the season or whatever. I don't know.
Ooh, do you have a
we could do
spreadsheet
that.
for that, Mark?
I didn't do a spreadsheet for that, but maybe I'll do it for next week. I didn't summarize all that, but I shall. Though.
That'll give us some UFO to talk about next week.
Yeah. So we can extend.
Next week we'll do like a look about a retrospective of well, how about that? How about that?
Episodes, yeah.
How about that?
How about
all right,
that?
So here's the guest cast. Why don't we finish with the book since we love the sacred?
I don't want any more cracks about the book.
That's why Catherine Fraser made her screen debut at age 14 in the BBC sitcom Mr. Pastry's Progress. Let's see what else she was on. Anything that we would know? Let's see. She was on The Goodies. Oh, I love The Goodies. Great British comedy. If you haven't seen The Goodies, go watch The Goodies. It's tough to find here though. The Main Chance, Within These Walls, Return of the Saint, Boone, Virtual Murder, and Causality. Not a lot on her credits here. Let's see. Christian Roberts, Tin Redman, the Deadbeat. He made his acting debut in To Sir with Love, 1967. He was in Hammer's The Anniversary. Let's see. Twisted Nerve, Desperados, Adventures, The Mind of Mr. Soames, James Clavell's epic Last Valley, 1970. Episodes of The Avengers and The Persuaders. Let's see. He began to concert and theater work in the 70s. He was seen on stage in London's West End. Return to the Forbidden Planet. I'm not sure what that is. Is that a sequel to Forbidden Planet?
Better not be.
It says West End Return to the Forbidden Planet and From a Jack to a King. I don't know what that is, but he left acting and went to live in Barbados, where he's now the proprietor of the famous Lone Star Hotel and restaurant on the island's fashionable West Coast. So, yeah, so that turned out pretty good for a deadbeat. Christopher Robbie, the bomb disposal major, is best known for his roles in BBC's Doctor Who. As the fictional superhero, the Krakus and the Mind Robber, and the Cyber Leader and the Revenge of the Cybermen. But he's also appeared in many episodes of The Avengers, Hammer House of Mystery and Suspense, Dempsey's Marketplace, and the Ruth Rendell Mysteries. Van driver John Gary's distinctive features have been seen in The Mummy's Shroud, 1967, If, 1968, The Private Life of Sherlock Holmes, 1970, Madhouse, 1974, and episodes of The Avengers, Danger Man, and The Baron. And Danger Man, is that considered the prequel to The Prisoner in some?
Well,
or
that's
sort of.
That's the original name of the show.
Yeah.
No, it's fan theory. The original show then became Secret Agent in America, but Danger Man's.
Yeah.
And some people don't think he was John Drake.
Yeah, it's a debate, right? Yeah. So, oops. Here we got our last and final oops. In Shadow Control, Straker passes a blonde operative outside his office door, but when the scene cuts to a shot from inside the office as Straker walks in, the blonde operator walks past again. Well, that's a fun oops. Yeah, it's okay to have a blonde keeping walking past you. Okay, the road junction at the entrance to Harville Hospital is marked for driving on the left. It has previously been established that the cars are driven on the right in Britain in the 1980s. Aha, that's right. Yeah. Oops. Straker refers to Catherine as Miss Ross as he leaves his office. That's another minor mistake. So this is filmed on location, Wexham Park Hospital, Pinewood Studios, Piccadilly Circus, London. Well, that's that scene in the flashback Tower Bridge, Grand Union Canal Path, Covent Garden Market. Wow, a lot of locations. A coach house, Canal Bridge, Billy Lane and Hollybush Lane. Let's see. So there's a lot of stuff here. Langley Park and major equipment. Shadow Car A21-384. Shadow Car A4-215. Shadow Jeep A2221. Another Jeep and a space dumper. So I don't know if that's the first time we saw the space dumper, but maybe they could have named that a little bit better, space dumper, and a UFO. But they don't list the Mustang, but that was definitely a 65 Mustang.
Well, could we rename some of the Voyager episodes Space Dumper?
A space dumper, yeah.
Maybe.
There's deleted scenes in this episode. Remember, I found that in the book. Let's see if there's some deleted
No more cracks
scenes
about
in
the
this
book.
one. Yeah, let's see what we got in here. Exposed. Where was the last question of priorities? Does it go in order? Let's see. Sound of Silence, Sub Smash. Nope, no deleted scenes here. I could read the. You want to reread the some of the forward, or do we want to get to the Star Trek comic?
We can do that next week. We go ahead and do
it next week.
now.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, we could do some sections. Yeah, that's fine. We could do
a
couple things on the book. That way we can keep talking about UFO for a little bit,
another week,
a little bit longer. Yeah.
Stretch it out a little bit.
Prepare for next week.
Yep.
Anything? How about this? You can want to do your. We can all bring our top. We don't have to do episodes. We could do favorite episodes if we don't want to. Or we can. Or Mark can just do the spreadsheet on it. How about we just each of us?
Could you do the spreadsheet? Do you have enough time?
Oh yeah, I'll find time. Yeah.
Okay.
If you're sure, but you don't know all of our ratings, do you? What send them to you?
I write them down in the show recaps, but I'll share the spreadsheet and you can.
Which is why you would get an A in my class every time you take notes. We talked about this in the green room before the show. Remember?
Yeah, I always love.
We never go anywhere without a pencil. What is wrong with you, man? Where's your pencil?
I don't have pens. They run out of ink. So, since it's our goodbye to the show, since it's our swan song for a while, recall number one, write anything you want to be your favorites, just what you love about the show, whatever you want to talk about in terms of UFOs. Fair game. You do that, we'll all do the same. We'll just hang out. We'll let you handle all that, and anything we might have to say to add, we'll do it. We'll just have a UFO
for you for next week.
Roundup.
Look, no. If you have real work to do, stuff like that, don't worry about it. I'm saying whatever you feel like. It doesn't be a big deal. We'll just talk about. Mark can run down the episodes of our ratings, and then anything you have to say about the show that you feel like that you really like to say about it. We'll make our big farewell to UFO next week.
Yep. And if I'm missing any ratings, I'll send you my spreadsheet. You can fill it in for me. But I think I have them all. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. I'm just writing this down.
Yep.
And
well, it's definitely a special series. I mean, it's very, very good. Yep.
Are you guys going to pick your bottoms? I'm going to pick my bottoms. I'm going to talk about my bottoms.
Yeah. Phrasing. Yeah.
I'm sorry, but we don't be talking about each other's bottoms around y'all.
Pick my worst. Yes, I will pick my worst. There's not that many really bad episodes.
I don't think I hate an episode.
Yeah.
I can't say I hate an episode, so it's kind of tough. I'll just talk about my best, but you guys knock yourself out, whatever you want.
Raquel's going to pick all the episodes that Paul Foster survived. No, just kidding.
No, there are only 2 episodes that I have that aren't A's. There are only 2.
Actually, I'm going to go ahead and spoil it right now. Here's this is actually for those I was waiting for this opportunity. Here is, folks, a preview of Raquel's favorite episode. Crazy. Or maybe this one. Joe Dog. Well, number one, you got to admit that's your favorite episode. You there?
Yeah, I'm on about a 6-second delay, but I was laughing hysterically. I was doing the ugly. Joe Dog, good evening.
Hey, Joe
and
Dog.
Larry, I love pocket protectors because it's so scary that when you're wearing your lab coat or when you're doing something really important, if a pen breaks, it ruins your outfit. It's horrible. And lab coats are expensive. And so are my blouses and my pants and definitely my briefcase. Could you imagine? So yes, pocket protector for sure. In the suit as well as in the briefcase, a pocket protector is a must. It's a must.
Indeed. But you know what else? You know what else is a must for Raquel?
What was it? I didn't get to see it.
You didn't? What?
You can't see it? It's a
No, I'm
slap.
on a 6-second
slap
delay
heard
and
around
it
the
cut it
world.
right out.
Wait a minute.
Oh my God, Mark. Mark. Seriously, sometimes you just make them just things that are just so cherry. So
Well, that was
cherry.
Clobbering Tom suggested that, although I have to say, when I was watching the episode, I'm like, I think I need to I need to clip this. And then Clobbering Tom's texted me just before the show, like, and always like, not to be a bother, but could you clip that for Raquel? I'm like, I'm
Yeah.
on that. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yep, Princess Fiona, this is what I'm saying.
The
He
smile,
smiles,
yeah,
and
he
he
smiles,
smiles
yeah.
rather wickedly. He's wicked. But before
But
we
why
get
is he
away from
smiling there?
ourselves here, Eric, the great Eric K, who I love so much, asked a while back, and it just wasn't appropriate for me to jump in. I just want to say I have never read the Great Brain series. And I just looked it up, which I don't normally do when I'm on air, because I like to give everyone my undivided attention. But this looks like a really beautiful series for children. Eric, I'm not surprised you read this when you were little. This says so much about your beautiful personality. So the Great Brain series is set in the early 1900s. These are the humorous tales of the Fitzgerald brothers, Irish, of course, especially Tom, better known as the Great Brain, for his ability to come up with money-making schemes and get into big trouble. So
I've heard of those.
definitely, it sounds like such a cute series. Eric, thank you so much for telling me about it.
I think I've heard of those.
They're quite cute. You should see the covers. The covers are really cute.
Oh, cool. There you go. Who wants to review a Star Trek comic?
I do.
You sure?
Yeah,
You'll
I
have
do.
to. You'll have to.
Did we call for the reviews? Did everyone file their review of this UFO
Oh, yeah,
episode?
Oh, I don't know. Did they?
I think we got a couple, but
Yeah. I starred one, but last call for UFO reviews before we get to Clubby's gorgeous comic that is just so good.
Someone may have done so. I'm sorry if that's the case, and I missed it.
I think someone did. I think someone did, but
yeah.
If anyone has anything to say about that, well, I don't know. It was just like one person that mentioned something, but I don't know if we said anything about it or not.
Well, so that's the last call for that. But folks, if you want to do your good, your bad, your ugly of UFO, or you just want to talk about why
your top
the
favorite
series
episode,
was good for you, or if you enjoyed it, or if it's a cool show that you'll watch again, that call that Clubby made for me, because he knows I like to be organized and do things in an organized way. You feel free to take that call yourself. Is there anything you want to say about UFO? You can prepare a few words for next week if you'd like, and it would be our pleasure to put it up on the marquee. And then also maybe your top and bottom. That's what I'm going to be doing. But I really like the boss's prompt. What would you like to say about UFO? It's a very good writing prompt, and it's a good way to get you to massage your ideas. So it's going to be an interesting conversation next week. Thank you, everyone who participated in watching UFO with us. It's a show that I think is so good. It's second only to TOS as far as science fiction on the small screen goes. So really lovely. Thank you, everyone.
Well, it's time for us to celebrate Star Trek Day, because the idiots who are in charge of Star Trek by license will never do it correctly. And up until a very short time ago, a couple years back, I did not know that the man trap. I was always under the impression like most of the world, the Demand Trap had aired on September 8, 1966. But I hence learned, well, not too long ago, that it actually aired 2 days earlier on September the 6th in the wonderful country of Canada. So
watch Saturday Night Star Trek. You'll learn, folks.
Learn stuff. So here we are, the 7th, and it's like the middle. It's just almost like we're in the middle of Star Trek Day. It's like one long 3-day day. We make days last long on YouTube, let me tell you. So, what better way to celebrate Star Trek with a bit of a Star Trek comic book review? And of course, this one, taking place with the Cage Crew, as we like to call them.
Oh, so good.
Star Trek Early Adventures. So, as many of you know, let me get this picture up here.
Larry. Three people lived in Canada in 1966.
I think it was
you
close.
are not wrong.
I think it was close to 6 or 7.
I love you guys.
Let's see here. We hate you now. You got Star Trek before us. We hate you for that.
Sorry.
It's not your fault.
Do you remember when I announced that in the chat and people were like, they were so upset with me? Some people thought it was really cool and everyone else was like, what? Is that true? I was like, yeah, CTV. It was on CTV.
That's lucky.
We'll cut you some slack because you didn't exist yet.
I got in big trouble.
But you didn't exist yet when it happened, so we can't blame you. Well, that's just timey-wiminess involved. So, anyway, folks, we've been enjoying this comic book. Now, basically, Star Trek, a couple years back, I did a show about the history of Star Trek comics, and we talked about just that. Star Trek history of comics is a long one. It's a big one. It's not too much shorter than the actual show, life of the show itself. Started out Gold Key. Marvel got the rights when the motion picture came out in 1978. For a very short time, they produced a few issues, and then it went over to DC for a very long time, well over a decade and a half. And eventually, the rights went up into the air again. It's kind of sprung all over the place because of the Paramount network and the syndication and all this kind of horse hockey. So, for example, like Deep Space Nine and Voyager, were with Malibu, even though the TNG and the original series were still with DC. And then in 1997, Marvel, got together with Paramount and did what they call Paramount Comics, a line of Star Trek comics dealing with all the various series. And one of the ones we're enjoying here is one that I enjoyed back then, I think I actually latched onto it about a year or two after it came out. Didn't realize it was out there. But it is it's a book called Star Trek Early Voyages, and of course chronicles the adventures of the great Captain Christopher Pike himself. Unlike some fake shit that's modern garbage that has nothing to do with such a character, this is real deal stuff, and it takes place in the real Star Trek universe. And we've reviewed the first 8 so far. There are 17 issues overall, and I will dread it ending, but while we're doing it, I look forward to every week of reviewing it because it's so fun. And now let's take a look here. This is, of course, Star Trek. Is everybody ready? Everybody set?
We are. There's a question first before we get started.
Yes.
Princess Fiona says, I have a big question for the 735 tally. Does the Cage plus the Menagerie count as 1, 2, or 3 episodes? Here's the deal, Princess Fiona. This is an international show. And because of the way that they divided up DS9 especially, and the way that they divide TOS, there's absolutely no way to nail down the exact number and for it to work for everyone internationally, especially folks who stream. So the 735 is based on excluding all of the filth, and it is based on the official numbers. So those numbers are TOS officially is 79 plus 6, obviously the films. TAS is 22. TNG is 178 plus 4, meaning the films. DS9 is 176. It's all over the place, the way that it's hacked up all around the world. It's different in Britain than it is in Canada, than it is in the USA, and even with streaming services. There are some DS9 episodes that are like 7 and 8 parts long, and in some countries it's 7 parts, in some countries it's 8. So it's a big mess. Voyager is 172, and ENT is 98. So we go by the official number to exclude the filth, so that people can understand the international implications of that. So it's the 735 Club. It's based on official numbers for international purposes, just meaning 1966 to 2005 without saying it. You could basically say that I did the 735 Club because it's like, I feel like it's the spirit of what Star Trek is, and saying 1966 to 2005 merely invites people to go, well, does that include this? Does that include that? And I wanted to make some geeky language, some nerdy language for us. So I just did the 735 Club. So I hope that explains it. 79 plus 6, 22, 178 plus 4, 176, 172, 98.
Like,
And I add a half to that because I add Galaxy Quest. So that's my
See what I mean, Fiona?
I love Galaxy Quest, but I'm gonna go. It doesn't mind. I love it, but it doesn't. But that's fine.
But just stir up the hornet's nest, which I won't do too much. But the IMDb lists 80 episodes of TOS, but the Cage never aired, so it's technically not, not an episode per se. But it's an unaired pilot. So, but some people say TOS is 80 episodes, but as Raquel is saying too, the way you chop the episodes up, some could be counted as 2 or 1, and 735 has a really nice ring to it too. I don't think the 736 Club has as nice of a ring. So 730, it's kind of nitpicky geek / nerd stuff. But yeah, the Cage is lost for many years too. So it's unaired episode.
That's the thing with geeks, though. Like, I have to say that's one thing that really grinds my gears with geeks that I don't like, and I've had quite a bit of contact with that. With geeks that try and make it seem like they watched The Cage originally. And when I start telling them that it wasn't available until 1989, they clam up. They're not sure what to say when I say that, because it's like, why are you trying to BS? And they're
ask them, how you can ask them, like, which scenes are in black and white and which scenes are in color. Originally, The Cage, only the episodes that appeared in the menagerie were color. And all the quote unquote lost scenes were in black and white. And that was my first tape of the menagerie. It would flip between black and white and color when you watched it.
Yeah. And what makes it even worse is that I'm a communications and technology scholar. So the first thing that I go and look at is how many people could afford a VHS player at that time? How many people could afford the VHS tape? And where was it made available? So this whole idea that that people actually sat down and watched The Cage it's absolute complete horse hockey. It is absolute balderdash. It is complete and utter shite. They did not. It for rich people who are connected, that's usually people who live in the United States who could afford a VHS player, as well as I cannot even express in words how much VHS tapes used to be. They were very expensive. And so to say that, so it had it was very limited in
$1980.
Yeah. So it's more likely that a lot of people who lived in the United States who were involved in academia got to watch The Cage because Gene Roddenberry presented it, including where CLOBBY is from at LSU. And so there were opportunities for that, but certainly no one had a DVD collection. Most people didn't even have a VHS collection. Imagine, I wouldn't even want to calculate it. In today's dollars, what would a VHS tape be worth? $150, $175? Like, I'm just throwing a number out there because a lot of them were like $59, $89 a piece. So it's like, Did you really watch The Cage in '89? No, you didn't. I think you waited until Gene Roddenberry's special came out on TV, and if you were rich enough to have cable, that's when you watched it. So when, like when DS9 was on the air? So it also, the 735 Club also protects you from BSers, like people who just lie about Star Trek and try and build up their own narrative about how they watched Star Trek or what they know about Star Trek. It's to make sure that no one BSs the numbers. Nobody fudges the numbers.
Yeah, and we've always grew up with Star Trek, so it's always been 79 episodes of Star Trek. Whenever it has TOS, there was no TNG, but it was always 79 episodes, and The Cage didn't count. And then it wasn't until years later, as you said, that was a special. I'm trying to find it on the YouTubes. I found the introduction to the pilot, and I think it was on YouTube. But put in the link, in, at least for Gene's intro to the pilot, to The Cage. But I think you can find the whole. Well, really, all you need is that intro anyway. That's intro if you want to watch that. There's the link.
Holy crap! Are you serious, Fiona? It's $480 in the mid '70s. Would be about $450 now. Yeah. So yeah, but we're not talking '70s. We're talking 1980s. And could not be reached for further comment. Can I just say that I miss Omni Magazine? Omni Magazine was so beautiful, wasn't it? It was so beautiful. It's one of those magazines that's lost to time. It's so sad. So sad. Anyway.
And I do have a bunch of the original posters. When I go to the rental shop for tapes, they would sell the tapes, and I have a bunch of I had the poster for The Cage and a bunch of Star Trek episodes. I'm trying to see if I can find one. And I remember I showed you some of them, Raquel, offline, and you were send them up to Canada.
But, you could send those directly to me, which made Clubby instantly laugh. Clubby's like, oh boy.
And I actually had them. I wish I had a picture of the ceiling. I'd covered the ceiling in Star Trek posters, at college. So you use that earthquake putty, as you call it, or fun tack, and had all the Star Trek posters and just all across the ceiling too. In college you can, you do whatever you want. But yeah, it was very, very expensive to have those tapes. And my good buddy Rob, my buddy I lost a few years ago, but as I've mentioned many times, his dad, we called him the first Netflix or Blockbuster, because he would spend a ton of money on VHS tapes at all Doctor Who, all Star Trek. And at one point you were buying, actually, I think it got cheaper when they had 2 Star Trek episodes on the tape. But originally I think they were selling just 1 episode. It was ridiculous how expensive it was. Weren't they single first, and then they did the doubles?
No. Initially they did set them like random 2 episodes for these sets. There were very few tapes. They were random. And then later when they came back and quote unquote remastered them or cleaned them up, whatever, they were and showed full up. They had the full running time on them. They were single tapes.
Oh, then they were single. Okay, so it was double first and then single.
But only double for a handful of random episodes.
Yeah, because
as far as coming out all of them in order, that didn't do that till the 88, 89, whatever that was.
Yeah, because I have all my I'm looking at my Star Trek folder now. And that was a big deal to get those episodes. Oh, yeah. You're like, oh my God, you can get them get them on VHS, like how. And then of course you had rentals. I'm trying to remember, did they rent? I guess we could rent Star Trek episodes.
You could rent
right?
them. Yep.
There were people that were like trying to sell them at flea markets too, because they had the money to buy a super expensive VHS player, and then they would record the episodes off of television, so they would include the commercials. And I remember people really jacking the price up, because I believe I would need to look this up. I don't like to work without notes because I like to provide the receipts for everything. But I think it was like you could get like a 30-minute tape, a 60-minute tape, and I think an 80-minute tape. I'm not hard and fast on that, but I just know that if you went to the flea market, there were people there that were taping it, and with the commercials, and you could get it that way. Oh my God, Larry, sweetheart.
Larry, thank you
Larry.
too much. Oh man, that is too kind, sir. I don't even know what to say, buddy. Thank you. He says, can I say I love Raquel? I say it to her all the time. We do. And strongly like Clobby and Mark. Yeah, that works. Strongly like, yeah, you worded
Thank
it.
you.
You could not have worded it better. I promise you that. Great mods and great chat room. The carbon-based units here are the best people on this planet. Of all of the souls I have encountered in my travels, you are the most.
You're gonna make me cry. Larry, I love you.
Larry, that is too kind, man. Thank you
I
so
love
much,
spending
buddy.
time with you. Thank you for being here, and thank you for that generous gift for Clobby. I just love you so much, Larry. Thank you, sweetheart.
I mean, we really appreciate you, all of you, of course. And Larry, you just such a great pal. And thank you. I have no words. I wish I did, but what I do have is thank you, sir. And yes, we all love Raquel.
Oh my goodness, you guys.
Everyone does.
I love you guys. I can't even believe you guys even put up with me, let alone love me. I love you all very much.
We love you because you're so crazy and fun. That's why. You cray, girl. We love you. You're so much fun. Well, that means you fit in with us because you weren't.
One of us, yep.
Yeah. Princess Fiona's cute story. Omni was published by the same people who did some adult magazines that also featured some sci-fi. That's true. It was what's his face? Penthouse guy. Was it Penthouse? Yeah, Larry Flint, wasn't it? My dad
that's Hustler,
Yep.
isn't it?
No, he's Hustler. Yeah, sorry. He was Penthouse.
Oh, that's right, Hustler. Yeah.
But
What's
it was
the other
Penthouse.
guy's name?
Not Hefner. It wasn't Hefner. It was Penthouse.
Not
Whoever-
Hefner.
Hefner's Playboy. My dad. There's either there's Hefner or there's Larry Flint. There's no other names that anyone knows of. But my dad, you merely cut out those pages and put them inside his Omni magazine collection. Well, why not?
I loved Omni magazine. It was beautiful. It was
They did
absolutely beautiful.
They did for a while. Omni did Penthouse Comics, and then they did Omni Comics at the same time. Bob
I know
Guccione,
nothing
thank
about
you, Fiona. Yeah,
Bob Guccione, yep.
Guccione, that's
Oh.
right.
Yeah.
So there was I forgot about Bob. Anyway, so they did Penthouse Comics, and then they had a lot of big names in comics working those. They were basically, smutty, but they were also like comedy stuff. But they had Omni Comics, and I bought that. It only lasted like 2 issues. One of them had Thunder Agents in it. Was it 1 issue or 2? I'm like, wow, Omni Comics, I gotta have that. Great artist. Didn't last, so I bought it, but it didn't last. Are we ready to review or not? Who's ready?
Oh, I'm ready to review this
Are you
beautiful
ready to
episode.
review?
If you're
All
a
right.
nerd and you're listening out there, I want you to put aside all of your bias against comics, because this particular comic that Clobby has introduced me to and that he's been teaching me about, and certainly everyone in the chat and Mark as well, because I'm new to comics, this doesn't feel like a comic. Like, I've never read comics before, but I will tell you this. While I'm reading them, I still haven't really gotten used to looking at the pictures, just not something I do. But they're episodes. These are like the lost episodes. And I'm really, really grateful to Clobby for taking the time to show me this and to teach me about it, because I'm having the time of my life. I absolutely love these lost episodes, as I like to refer to them. They're just, especially tonight's. So thanks, Clobby. I love these comics. Thank you.
Love it. Well, just love showing them to you. Love showing them to you. So we'll get along. And Mark had to step back for a second. Be right back, I guess. We'll just get along moving here. As I was I kind of lost where I was. Basically, so this is 1997 when Marvel and Paramount got together to do Paramount Comics. Their whole plan was to do a lot of Paramount, not just Star Trek, but it started out with the Star Trek line. This is Star Trek Early Voyages number 9. Welcome to Nano's home world. Is Lyra burning? Okay, so it's funny how the cover, Abnett, Eddington, Zurcher, Adams are the credits, which means that, they usually putting the artists on there. And then we have some Saturday morning.
So what is the
announcements.
significance there?
What?
Can you tell me why you just said that?
Well, yeah, I have to skip ahead first.
Oh, okay,
So,
okay. I just want to
this
say
is-
that the cover is absolutely beautiful.
Yes,
It's
because-
striking, gorgeous.
as for those who've been following this comic, we've known that Abnett and Eddington have been running the writing and Zurcher and Adams on the art. So that's your normal creative team. They put them on their last names on the cover. However, we have a change in creative team this month. So basically it says Space, the Final Frontier. Before James T. Kirk, before Jean-Luc Picard, there was Christopher Pike. These were the voyages of the Starship Enterprise. Its 5-year mission to explore strange new worlds, real strange new worlds, not fakey, crappy, wussy ones. To seek out new life and new civilizations. To boldly go where no man has gone before. So in this page, they add these pages that give you basically a recap of what has been going on. Good for the reader. Interesting idea. It was pretty good. And then we're on the planet Lyra, which of course we see this person here, who I guess looks a lot like a crewman we're kind of getting to know, called Nano. It is. Who is there? He's being visited in the night. Come into the light. Do not be afraid. And this flickering becomes a big fire and a face. And one of a kind. As your story is called, One of a Kind. Now, usually Patrick Zurcher is the penciler, but here Ian Eddington and Dan Abnett are the regular writers and are on this one as well. Mike Collins is filling in for Patrick Zurcher. Same inker, Greg Adams. Maurice Avens still on the colorist. Janice Chang still lettering, and Bobby Chase still at editor, and Bob Harris still being Bob Harris's dumb art.
Okay, so Mike Collins is the guest penciler here.
He's the guest penciler, exactly. So
neat. Okay.
After apparently this incident on this planet, the Enterprise has received a priority message, actually aimed at Nano himself, and he needs to talk to the captain about it. I like that shot of look. That's a pretty good pike head. That looks. Here you can tell this penciler just decided to look at a picture of Jeffrey Hunter.
Yeah, it's beautiful, and everyone knows I have a massive crush on Jeffrey Hunter. I think he's gorgeous. There is no other Pike. There is no other Pike.
No, only one Pike.
No, because a person's character isn't a costume.
Right. Oh, exactly. Let's see. Up and you. I would have waited, but I thought Mark will be back in a minute. He's got to handle something real quick. Excuse me. So, interesting weapon. He's at the shooting range. Hit 97.8% accuracy. Again, you could tell this is a different penciler, but I'm not sure what happened. It's a guest penciler.
I'm sorry to interrupt, boss. Please excuse me.
That's right.
Larry wants us to talk about the fold-out, because the fold-out, he says, look, number 1, look, her surname is there. Lieutenant Commander Robbins is Pike's first officer.
Let's see.
Beautiful.
That's number 1.
Larry, love you, Larry.
Number 1.
Larry reads these the same way I do. He reads the physical comics like I do. I ordered them, and I definitely recommend buying them, folks. Not only do they smell beautiful, but they look much better in real life than in the digital format.
Well, that's the first time I've seen her call that. Maybe the other issues do it too. Do they?
I don't know, boss. I would need to open it up and check.
No,
but this is why I love Larry. Giant nerd.
I'm gonna check the last one real quick.
Yeah.
Yep.
No one noticed except for Larry.
Well done,
Larry.
Larry.
I love you, honey. Great job. So there's some new information, and that fold out is essential. Listen to it. It's quite beautiful too when you see all 3 of the pages together, like flat on your desk.
Right.
Well, mine's not flat because I'm not going to bust the spine, but you know.
Right. Gotcha. Well, that was the beginning of the end of the fold outs there. Okay. So well done, Larry. Larry, appreciate it, buddy.
Yeah, he's cool. He's so cool to have around. He's just so smart and cool.
So at the shooting range, Pike's doing a little shooting, and when he tells he tells of what he needs to do, you know, he says the Enterprise has been authorized to convey him home. It'll be our pleasure. How long will we be gone? Forever, Captain. That miss 0.000% one accuracy. He's shocked, is Pike. And but what are they gonna do? But they're all sitting around talking about it.
Colt's so cute.
Didn't she? They got
Colt,
again. There's
she's
some
beautiful
shots.
and adorable.
Yeah, you can tell he pauses VCR or his, whatever. Just, you know, once in a while, I think we'll get away with it. Draw him like the character. Looked at the episode. Oh dear. So basically, we finally learn more about Nanu's people. They are, let's see, their culture is highly complex, Yeoman Colt. They have a fixed population level that hardly varies. When one dies, usually of old age, another is conceived in advance to maintain numbers. Balanced this way, the Lyran have attached a significant degree of telepathic sympathy. So they're telepathic collective. More a shared consciousness after the Federation's first contact 30 years ago. The Lyran realized they needed an off-world envoy. No one could be spared from their perfect balance, so a superfluous extra was deliberately created, Lieutenant Nanu. Now, it's mentioned earlier in this comic. Maybe I passed it up to make sure. No?
What?
No, we haven't gotten to it yet. Never mind. There was a story point I thought we passed up.
No.
Excuse me.
I can't believe that number one's name is Robbins.
Yeah, I mean,
I've never... Like, do you have a headcanon?
I don't know where they found it from, where they got that from.
Yeah, because I don't have a headcanon. I'm 66 to 2005 with absolutely no exceptions. But I do have to say that after reading, just let me check here. After reading 9 of these comics, I think that these authors have established themselves as people who have a right to add to the cage.
I would have to check the Star Trek Encyclopedia, which I have to pull out. I have it over here.
Yeah, could we check that later?
Yes.
Larry, what are you doing to me? I love this. I love learning. Anyway.
Mark, where you at? Dude, you out there? You okay? I was all right. He'll be back when he can be back, folks, but I didn't know what we could do. I guess he didn't mean for us to stop. So we'll wait. We'll backtrack with him when he gets here. All right. All right. Now they want him back. There has been an accident on Lara, an unexpected death. Nana was being recalled to help balance the Lyran unity. Will one individual really make that much difference? To my people, yes. Imagine wiping a line of computer code, then expecting it to function. It is the same for us. Captain, I am sorry to intrude, but here are my recommendations for my successor. Anyway.
Look at how beautiful the ship looks.
Nice shot there, yes.
Look.
Yes.
Look
Captain's
at that.
log. Captain's log. Stardate 361.6. The Enterprise is en route to Lyria. Lyria. I think I can speak for the whole crew in expressing our sadness at Nano's impending departure. In his own quiet, subtle way, he has made a big impact on us all. He will be missed. I like how they were talking about, like Spock's talking about, as non-humans cut off from our cultures by duty, I feel Lieutenant Nanu and I share a kinship of sorts. I wish to express my happiness at his good fortune. However, I'm unsure how to broach this. I'm throwing him a send-off party, Spock. You can tell him then. Yeah, excuse me.
I'm back. Sorry, I had to beam out for a second, but
no problem. I mean,
help my yep. Oh, everything's good. Yep, just had to help mom called to help her with something.
Oh, I got you.
Your mom always comes first. Now, kindly
Yes.
go to the agony booth for 15 minutes.
Yes.
My mom or me?
14.
You.
No.
Not your cute
Okay.
little mom.
So, yep. So, yeah. So the art. What do you think so far? I was kind of listening, Raquel. You like the
Oh
art,
my
even though
God.
it's a replacement, right?
He's a pretty
Oh
decent
my
replacement. I think apparently
love it.
Zurcher's name's on the cover, so that must have been a last minute thing. He must have. This guy had to probably, if I'm guessing, worked on Lurcher's layouts and probably mostly they just went ahead and get. I don't know, they would have given Lurcher.
He might have done finishing.
He might have done the whole damn thing. They just accidentally put Lurcher's name on there because they would have had to give Lurcher some kind of credit. So I don't know. He does a nice job, and Greg Adams does a pretty good job of filling it. It's not as good as Lurcher by any stretch of the imagination, but it's
No, I don't think so either.
It's serviceable.
Spock's face.
Hmm?
You can
They
tell that there's
miscolored. Go ahead.
no, it's just like I can just see a difference in the accuracy of Spock's face.
Oh yeah. It's different. All artists are different. Yeah, he's done a very serviceable job. So
He does, yeah.
it works.
The cover is so beautiful. The cover is really, really nice.
And this, it is. And this young lady that's sitting with him, she's one of the bridge crew. I can't forget what she is, but she basically tells us. Okay. There you go. She says to be honest, no. You know, my father's chairman of the Federation's First Contact Council. Well, he led the team that made first contact with the Lyran. It is because of him Nana was here with us. The first contact prompted the Lyran to create him, especially as their representative. The problem was, up until now, he hasn't been allowed to go home again.
Mm-hmm.
I can't help but feel my father's responsible for Nana's misery at being an outcast all of his life. Well, he didn't do anything on purpose. It's just that group he worked for. I mean, said, anyway, that's pretty cool. Nanu has a picture of himself.
Interesting backstory. Yep.
Yeah, I like him.
Well, we talked about this in, I think, episode 3. So they gave us some indication that they were going to talk about this later, right? That his species,
yes,
in order to maintain their resources and also their cultural way of life, they're very limited, and every birth is very purposeful, and they never have more and they never have less. It's just always the same amount.
Everything is sacred there, to paraphrase.
Yeah. Oh, your Muslim uncle. Good evening.
Your Muslim uncle.
Hey,
Thank
Muslim.
you. Thank you for that, buddy. Good to see you, my friend.
Yeah.
Says,
so now this is like following up on that.
He says, let's read the super chat really quick.
Oh, sorry.
Hail from Sufi Mom and I to all. Hail and best wishes to you and your wonderful mommy there, your Muslim uncle. Thank you so much.
Hail,
thank you.
Yep.
Let's see here. Okay, now continue. Number 1, please. Anything you have to say about?
Oh no, I just wanted to say that, yeah, like I think it was in the 3rd episode or issue, I guess you would call it. I consider these lost episodes, but they talked about this species. And so now that I like the fact that they're following up on it instead of just introducing a character and then like doing this giant exploration of that character. Instead, they leave us some little breadcrumbs, and then an issue or 2 or 3 later, then we get a more natural explanation of that person's or that species' way of life. So I really like this because I wanted to know more, and now here we are.
Yes, and I like the character, and I'm trying to, when they do this, I always try to get a feel for how they might sound, because as you can see, a common trick in comics is the human's bubble or word balloon is normal, whereas his is all misshaped. That means, of course, he speaks in a different way. So like, thank you. You are kind. You don't seem too happy about going home. I know. It is strange. Sita I was deliberately created to be an outsider returning home. Should you be? I'm trying to make it feel like a Saturday morning cartoon. Sorry, everybody. Returning home should be a dream come true. Kidding. I just don't know what he sounds like. I'm just kidding. He sounds fantastic, I'm sure.
He reminds me of RX.
He does remind me of RX, yes.
He does, but he's cooler than RX, I think.
Yes, that too.
But I hear RX's voice, right? I hear...
That voice like that.
Yeah, and that's Jimmy Doohan, right? He did so many of the voices.
I think it is.
For
TAS.
And so, like, when I see this character, I'm hearing RX, and I'm thinking, oh, there's Jimmy, and you're doing a very good impression of Jimmy's RX.
Oh, thanks. Das Wolfen.
Das Wolfen.
I've always thought Jimmy doing the voice of if he did RX as Captain, and I don't know what's going on here, but I really sound terrible, like a Sunday morning cartoon character.
But I love it.
RX.
Captain's log, supplemental. I'm Captain RX Pike now. Sorry. All right, sorry. Captain's log.
I miss Jimmy Doohan.
I do him. I do too, man. Captain's log, supplemental. We have achieved standard orbit above there. I've always wanted to do the captain's log of a ship that I never even served on. No matter what the stupid assholes on Strangled and Worms have to say. Up your shaft, Strangled and Worms. Anyway. Captain's log supplemental. Stop taking my log away from me, all you idiots. I'm the Captain Real Pike here. Damn it. We have achieved standard orbit above Lyra. I've always wanted to visit this ancient and notoriously reclusive culture. I just wish the circumstances were happier. I've given permission for Lieutenant Nano's bridge crew colleagues to accompany us to the surface. Having his friends see him off is the least I can do. I am Adjunct Coda, Space Speaker of the Lyran Unity. Welcome, Captain Christopher Pike. Thank you, sir. It's stop it. I'm sorry. I just can't help it when I see. I want to do dumb voices when I see these characters.
Luhan, you hear it because of the crunchy dialogue thingy around it.
Well, thank you, Uncle. Well, that was for Steve Mitchum, but he's not here, so. You have to remind him Sunday night that he missed out.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Thank you. Anyway, it's a privilege, sir. They land again. All things are all pretty hunky dory and nice. We're all sad for Nano, but it's a nice place. Not everybody in the universe is trying to kill him for a change. That's always cool. But this really is a sad but interesting story here. Anybody else anything they need to say?
I love the setup. I think it's very Star Trek.
Yes.
It's a cool alien race in terms of not being derivative of other alien races. It's a very original idea. He's bred just to be basically an ambassador. So he's a cog in the wheel that doesn't fit in the wheel that's his homeworld. So he's got a lot of parallels to Mr. Spock in some ways, not entirely identical, but it's a great setup, and they really do a really nice job of rounding out his character. And just what page are we on now? It's just a few pages, right? It's
there aren't many pages.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just a testament to how well the comic is written that it you really feel for his character. Throughout the story, he hasn't had a lot to do before in previous issues, right? I mean, he hasn't had a lot of dialogue or, so they're giving you all this backstory right away. And but it's organic to the story and it fits. So it's really interesting. Yeah.
I just wanted to point to the chat here, although I'm going to get myself in trouble. I know I pushed too much towards the chat, and I apologize for that.
No, it's all right.
Princess Fiona is saying in the book Star Trek II Biographies, 1982 by William Rostler, her real name is given as Lee Hudak. That's Magel. I know we're an international show. That's her name. So that's her real name, right?
Yeah.
Just so
trying
everyone
to find
knows.
out who the name of number one is. Yeah, well,
yep,
Vulcan's Glory has it.
Is it right? Well, because in this book, I don't know if you noticed, but Larry pointed out while you were gone, Mark, they have her in the past 3 issues in the opening as Lieutenant Robbins.
Okay, so I think when was
This was 97.
Vulcan's Glory written,
Oh,
which is an incredible A++
80s, the
book, which I
80s.
read last summer.
That was written like
Vulcan's-
what, 80s maybe, 90s.
Vulcan's. I think it was.
It was written before this.
TNG was out. Let's see. It was
Yeah.
written. Oh, come on, give me the date.
I would accept that number one.
1989.
If we do that,
1989.
I would accept that.
And
they
of
give her
course, it's
name?
not canon. It's not canon. They give her name, and they give her as her Illyrian back. It's all the background that the new junk took without giving credit to DC Fontana, although she probably doesn't want her name on that stuff anyway. I'm guessing, but it's
Yeah, I don't have a dog in that fight because I don't have headcanon. I'm not somebody who sorts through what I accept as Star Trek and what isn't, and what is a deviation, and episodes that I don't consider Star Trek and all that kind of stuff. I don't have what the cool kids call headcanon. I'm just 735, and I don't add.
But
or
as a book
subtract.
written by DC Fontana, I've got to say, it's just, you feel the characters come to life again. And when you're reading the lines by Mr. Spock, of course, they're written by DC Fontana. There's no ghostwriters here, so it's Spock come to life again. I mean, yeah, it's not quote unquote not canon, but it's
Holy
that's the
Trinity,
fun. Yeah,
Yeah.
but that's the fun of the
Real deal.
reading these Star Trek novels. So yeah, so
and
Pocket
it's Holy
Books editor.
Trinity.
Yeah,
Yep.
David Stern approached Fontana to write a Star Trek novel, and she proposed writing the story of Spock's first mission on the Enterprise, joining a crew led by Captain Christopher Pike. She described this as a pleasant experience, particularly working with Stern. But yeah, I mean, I'd highly recommend anyone in the chat or Raquel or CLOBBERIN Times to read Vulcan's Glory. It's good stuff.
Thought I had it, but I kept seeing.
I wonder what Gene would have. I wonder what Gene would have said.
Well, he knew about it. I mean, he was alive.
Well, he did,
He was
yeah.
alive,
But
yeah.
I wonder
Yeah.
what he would have said about it if they were going to turn it into the show. Would he have gone with Magel's
interesting.
middle name and last name, her maiden name and her middle name, because was her birth name, or would they go with this name that is in this comic, or what would be his input there?
Yeah, good point. Yeah, and this comic is 1990, right?
Mm-hmm.
97.
Oh, 97, way after.
97?
Okay,
Yep.
97,
Yeah, 1997. 1997. Yes. Duh.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
we move along, and there some strangeness happens when they're walking around outside. What do you call them? Let yourself join the coordination. I see it. Phasers on maximum. They got some kind of attacked by some. What the hell is that?
One of the pillars in the courtyard falls.
Right. So they don't know why.
But instead of it just falling normally, it becomes a projectile.
Right. Oh yeah.
Aren't they doing a training, like a Yoda kind of training thing there, or is that
it's sort of like raising Stonehenge or whatever? I don't know. They're like it's like there are these pillars, and it's like Stonehenge, and they all go there to like concentrate their energy on that stone or whatever. So the stone raises, but it suddenly turns into a projectile.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if that was an accident because of what happens later in the story. But I think that scene, it's kind of like a Yoda kind of scene, right? They're trying to.
Yeah, that's. Yeah, there's a panel for it.
Yeah, they're trying to like. They're training to join the coordination. It says right
here. Yeah, they're using.
Go. That's the wrong.
Yeah. This is where they're trying. They're using their minds to hold up.
There it is.
Okay,
that's the one, Clobby. Yep.
Right. Then it fell.
Because he's not part of the link.
Turns on its side and becomes a cruise missile instead of just raising Stonehenge.
Right. He didn't know how to. He didn't, because he's not part of that collective. He didn't know how to do it yet. So.
Well, thankfully, Stonehenge didn't get trampled by dwarves that night either.
True.
I couldn't resist. I can't let
I just can't believe that Larry found this thing with this Commander Robbins and I need to read
I
that
wasn't
DC
even looking at it.
Fontana thing. I mean, I
I was
love
on the
DC
pullout.
Fontana. She's
It's on-
she's a part of the Holy Trinity, right? Star Trek.
Right,
This
right.
is somebody
Yeah.
who Gene Roddenberry trusted so much. She wrote letters on their behalf. Like, she would sign the letters from DC Fontana and Gene Roddenberry, and you could see that his name was underlined in the CC carbon copy. You know, Gene said this is what we want, blah blah blah. So, you know, when Gene L. Kuhn and when DC Fontana or Gene Roddenberry are involved, of course I want to accept it. But you know what I find really revolting and kind of upsetting is the fact that because it's being used for filth now, that I don't want to accept it. Does that make sense?
Yes.
But yep.
But of course,
Yeah.
this was
Yep.
licensed by this is licensed by Paramount to Marvel. So you wonder if they would ask for that, or this time they say, "Oh, can you clarify her name?" and or if they wouldn't even care. You know, who cares, right? You know, you wonder how strict they were at that with something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But they might not
Yeah.
have something Harris might have done as an editor and not checked and oh, who cares? No one's going to notice. We're going to give her a name, that
Mhm.
kind of thing. Or did they actually get clearance from Paramount that is her name, or what we
Okay,
think is her
so
name?
let's get this
Probably.
straight now. We need to, I just want to get this in my head here, because until Larry pointed this out, I did not know this. Clobby didn't know this either. This is
I always
crazy.
skip that part. I always skip the intro and then that
Okay,
page.
so for Early Voyages, number 1 is Lieutenant Commander Robbins, and they haven't revealed her first name, and we're in the 9th issue. And what Princess Fiona is saying is that DC Fontana said that her name was Lee Hudak. Was it DC Fontana? Who said, I just want a refresher? What did DC Fontana say? And what did and where did Lee Hudak come from? Because if they're going to name number 1 after the Queen, I'm perfectly good with that. But I want to know who it is. So who said what? Paramount Comics is saying number 1 is Lieutenant Commander Robbins. Someone is saying that it's actually Magel's middle and last name, Lee Hudak. And Fontana said she was Illyrian.
And Una, yeah, the whole Illyrian
Una.
backstory that she's
Oh, I don't know.
she's genetically created, kind of like this character, to be the number 1 on her of that year on her planet. That's why she's called Una. She's the best that they had to offer in that genetic modification.
I hate
I
that.
don't know. Okay, so then there are 3 names for number 1 on the table, and this is Gene Roddenberry's pilot. I don't know what to say, folks. I mean, you guys know my ridiculous attachment to the Cage. Clobby, can I ask you what you think? Do you like the fact that she's Illyrian and her name is Una? Or do you like the fact that they're using the Queen's middle name and maiden name? Or do you like this Commander Robbins? Why are they messing with these characters so much? Oh,
Well, I tell you what, I love DC Fontana so much that I believe Mark that the book is great. I haven't read it yet, but I don't not sanguine about that whole thing with the her being Illyrian and all that other stuff that goes along with it, her being what is she, augmented or whatever, and being the whole reason calling her number 1. I don't like it. I would prefer just to be named after the Queen, and he calls her number 1 because sometimes they call first officers number 1, and that's that. And then she could, I personally would have preferred that.
I think so too.
But
just leave alone.
But I don't recognize the filth anyway, so they can screw off. So out of the 2, I prefer she's a human being who happens to be.
Me too.
Have that name, the name of the Queen. Other than, but if I'm like, if there've been no strangled new worms doing this horse shit, because let's be fair, that's not DC Fontana's fault.
Yeah.
I'd be like, okay, out of the two, I prefer the other one. I don't like it sounds kind of gimmicky. I'm sure the story's really good. I don't really like her having that kind of a goofy origin in a sense.
And
I
a
think
total
Well,
change in
she
character.
does such a great job of, and I'm probably doing the book some of it what a disservice, but the way she explains it in DC Fontana's words, it's very well written, but explains why she's so brilliant at what she does, and it's her struggling with her alien background and how that she might not be accepted and how that ties into
Yeah, but it's kind
Spock.
of cheesy. It's like she's repeating what
Well,
she
you
did with Spock. Look at this. William Roster in 1982 dubbed her Lee Hudak. DC called her Una, but it was only a nickname as her Illyrian or Illyrian name is not pronounceable or was not pronounceable. Sorry. But like, I don't know what to say, but I will tell you this. I really don't like this kind of stuff. And I'm so happy that Larry brought it up. So I'm with Clubby on this. Like, I like number one being a human. She's a human woman who is breaking huge barriers by being second in command on a military ship and an astronaut what would he have been writing it in 1963, 64? I
Right.
mean, come on. This is so awesome. Why are we making it all messed up? So
I think from that standpoint, what you hit on was the most important thing of all. His whole point, this was at a time where women were not treated respectfully or equal by any terms equally. And he
yeah.
wanted the statement to be, this is a show about humans and humanisms. We could have plenty of alien characters, Spock and whatever, that we love our alien characters. The show is about, deep down, it's about humans. And in this case, she represented the first of what was to be many women shown in the light as an equal, and all that progressive thinking that he brought with it. So it kind of flies in the face of that to give her some kind of cheat, like her being an augmented being from another world. She, in my opinion, the character should be human.
I think
here's
so
the quote
too.
here's the quote from the book, just so we get what DC Fontana did. Quote, some officers have had a difficult time dealing with the fact that she is a genetically perfect being. On her planet Illyria, excellence is the only criterion that is accepted. She's technically designated as being the best of her breed for the year that she was born. I see. She therefore would receive the appellation number one, even if she were not the executive officer. You have it, Pike and Spock. But yeah, of
Okay,
course, these books are non-canon, but
that's not good. That's not
I
good.
I'm just even I would highly recommend this book. It's just so darn good. But there's a lot to it.
It's a book about Spock anyway, so
yeah.
But she's Spockifying the character, and I totally agree with Clobby. Not only that, like Gene Roddenberry was very clever and very academic. He had a scholar's mind, a really, really intelligent person. And there are all these people saying all these sexist things, calling him a misogynist, saying all these wicked things about him. Well, I can tell you from social science that we have multiple studies that show that when a woman is in power, so if a woman is leading a group or she's a CEO or she's a physician or a surgeon or whatever have you, that when she's around her peers, she's more likely to be called by her first name instead of her last name or her designation. So let's say you're in a room full of doctors. I won't say doctors, I'll say physicians. So you're in a room full of physicians, and everyone is calling everyone by Dr. France and Dr. King and Dr. Smith. They're all using their surnames and their titles, but when they address women, studies show that they actually use the woman's first name. And so I'm a big defender of Gene Roddenberry, and I don't like the fact that they've called him a misogynist and said all these wicked, horrible things about him and saying that Star Trek is misogynistic and all this crap. What Clobby said is true. She is a human woman, a female, a woman who is not only in the military before women were even allowed to be in the military, but she's also an astronaut. And furthermore, I think it's incredible that against all of that rhetoric that Gene had them calling her number one. not her first name. And so I think it's significant for her to only be her designation. If she were captain, they would call her captain. And so I think it's really important to throw back these misogynistic ideas in the faces of these people that think they understand critical theory and they don't. I think it's good to call them on their BS. It is very progressive for a man in 1963, 1964 to be writing a woman as number one, to be writing a woman as captain, to be writing a woman as doctor, to do that. That's incredible. That's incredible. And so I throw that back into the face of the people who want to call her Una. Oh my God. Yeah, Claudia, I agree with you.
Well, like I say, I don't want Mark to think I'm discounting that book, because I'm sure it is good.
Okay. No, that's a great book, and of course Scotty's got a great introduction there. God, it would be so much better if they even just did that, the story and that what we get in Strange Nude Worms. But yeah, it's worth a reading. You take it with a grain of salt, and that's the thing. It's just a novel, and you just you enjoy it, and it's
most people have latched onto that Una thing, including Byrne even.
Yeah,
it's not good.
But it was an interesting take, and of course they took it in a whole different direction. That none of what happens in Strange Nude Worms has anything to do with the book. They just kind of take it, and then the horrible thing is they don't even give any writing credit to DC Fontana too. At least they could say, as based upon
the ideas
the ideas of DC Fontana from based on the book Vulcan's Glory. And sell some books so her family gets some money out of it. Whether like or dislike the idea, they're taking the damn idea and not giving any credit, which is theft, in my opinion.
That's not good. That's not good. But I just want to thank Larry for pointing out the Robins. And I just want to say how amazing it is to be in a room full of hardcore Trekkies as we discuss something like this. So we know Clobby's opinion. We know Mark's opinion. I just voiced my opinion. And now let's finish the comic. But I want to put it to the chat. Chat, what do you think? Larry, what's your perspective? I think Fiona has said that she's weighing in. I can only call her number one out of respect for Gene Roddenberry and for what he was trying to do with that character. But I want to put it to the chat. Please feel free to voice your opinion. I would love to know what you all think. There are a lot. I didn't realize there were so many names on offer for number one. It's kind of crazy. So if you folks want to tell us what you think, I would really appreciate it. I mean, you don't have to, but I would love to know.
Let's see here. So a couple of the crew members, I think Joe and Jose and the other kid, I think it's Joe or Jose. Is it Jose Tyler? Jose Tyler. Yeah. No. Yeah. No, it's one of the blonde kids from the cage. They were they're visiting just like talking and visiting with some gardener, and all of a sudden comes a fiery thingy, and someone else is caught in a blaze. Another one of the people are caught in a blaze. My God,
it's crazy.
So we're wondering what the hell's happening on this planet. I know what I saw, Captain. This is no freak accident. I believe you, Lieutenant. The question is, why are the Lyrian claiming that it was? So they're claiming it was an accident.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see his face, Sita, but was the way the flames moved and engulfed the poor guy. It wasn't natural.
Mm-hmm.
So all the Lyrians are pyrotechnics like Nano, right? Maybe there's a connection, Captain. Mr. Nano, your time is impeccable. As always, pull up a chair. Is anything wrong? Yes. No, Captain. Yes, everything is wrong. I've been attempting to attune to the Unity's sacred consciousness to relearn abilities unused since childhood. You witnessed my success earlier today. I'm not sure if this is what I want. I don't know how to be part of my people again, blah, blah, blah. He's talking about. So anyway, he doesn't want to be there. He kind of wants to wants to stay with the Enterprise.
Yeah, and this is actually the
Good.
significant page where this whole story turns into super TOS. Like
Yes.
this is like so Gene Roddenberry from this
is.
point forward that I was smiling and I almost giggled while I was reading it. It was so much like Gene's writing. This freaked me out. And this is the exact page where the Gene Roddenberry, did Gene Roddenberry write this? And the giggles started. This is quite remarkable. The writing here is very good.
I was thinking about you when I was reading it, saying this is so pure science fiction. Star Trek.
It is. It's beautiful. And Larry says Dr. Demento is a great music scholar. Are you referring to fish heads, roly poly fish heads, fish heads? Eat them
I
up,
love
yum.
those. Eat them up, yum. I love fish heads. Well, I don't eat them. I love the song.
I love Larry.
You know who wrote that song?
Yeah, Dr. Demento.
No, he didn't write the song. He played the song.
Oh,
he played it on the show. You know anybody? Mark, you? No?
No.
Billy Mooney.
Dr. Demento. Oh, wow.
Billy Mooney.
Lost in Space.
Yep. Will Robinson, Lost in Space.
No way.
Wrote Fish Heads. Yeah. Dr. Demento was shows like he played like guys like Weird Al and other people would send in their crazy songs. And I love him. But Billy Mooney was, I believe, the one who wrote the Fish Heads.
That's a gooder.
Weird stuff, isn't it?
It's funny. It's very funny. You guys have MTV in the United States. Well, we didn't ever have MTV here. We had something called Much Music. And Much Music used to play the video. And it was so bizarre. It's just the craziest video.
It was nationally syndicated as a radio show here, Dr. Demento.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It was on. Oh yeah, we used to get it would be on for hours and hours on weird places. All that we didn't have the best. It wasn't always in the best spot, but we used to get it it was like on the college radio stations would carry it a lot, and some of the other ones. I know we used to get them on Sunday afternoons or Sunday nights. Did you ever get Dr. Demento at Weird Nights, Mark, or up there?
Yeah, we did get Dr. Demento. Yep.
There you go. Sunday night.
Yep.
Sunday night. Mm-hmm.
It was a crazy show. Yep.
Oh man, I loved it. And then he'd do his top countdown, and then fine. I wish I could get an audio of him because when we do our listen stuff of him, because he would always go, "It's time for number one."
Oh, he's got to be on the
there we are. Number one. Boom. Thank you. Yeah. So
they're coming to take me away. Oh my! Remember that one?
Oh,
here we go.
They're coming to take me away. Ha ha, hee hee, ho ho.
To the funny farm where life is beautiful all the time.
Mm-hmm.
What's that?
Oh, I found some. Yeah, here.
Fiona, a member for 4 months. Oh, Fiona, cool. Rossler also gave Uhura her first name.
Yeah.
Wow. There you go. Das Wolfen. So let's see here. All right, where were we? All right. There's another matter, Captain. My own inabilities aside, I sense something is blocking my attempts to join the shared consciousness. I sense an irrational fear as a long-term problem that the Ylirin are trying to cope with and failing. What do you want us to do? In 2 hours' time, I officially cease being a Starfleet officer and part of your crew. Until then, I formally request my captain's assistance in investigating this threat. So they put him down there. He's hooked up to this machining thingy. And I'll note this panel right here. I think this artist forgot he was supposed to be drawing Jeffrey Hunter, and he drew Shatner by accident.
He drew Kirk there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kirk. Yeah.
He took a picture. Oops. He took a Kirk and Spock photo.
Yeah.
God bless him. And he said, "Oh, that's yeah, I'm sorry, but that's Captain. I do not understand. We have transported back along our own timeline. You're supposed to be Captain Pike." Fuck, what are you talking about? How did we get here? I don't know, Captain.
Oh my!
This is a very familiar time. Something was happening, but it was before
he looks
you.
Like Sarek.
The Enterprise.
He does not look like Spock at all. That looks like Sarek. That looks like Mark Lenard
It's not a good
Bill.
panel there, but that's
Spock.
okay.
It's not a good panel, but
Spock.
I don't even look at the panels until we do this show. I just
Wait
read
till.
it like it's
What do
a
you mean
story,
you don't
like a
look at the
short
panel?
story.
How do you? Come on! You're supposed to look at the picture and it's a
I
comic book.
just
You got to
can't.
get
I
into
just
it. Well, you got to rewire your brain. You got to get used to these
rewire my brain
funny
for
books.
visual instead of text. I don't know if I
Yes,
can do it.
yes. You have to look
Well,
at the.
We'll help. That's what we're here for. Take baby
Yeah.
steps now. Spock, why are you transmogrifying into your father? I don't know, Captain. Perhaps by the next panel we'll be back to ourselves. All right. Well, they're fair couple. So now back to Nano. It's starting. I'm probing deep into the Lyran race consciousness. The race mind, sorry. It's wonderful. I'm home. Wait, no. Deaths, many deaths. More than we can know. Hidden, concealed from the outside. Something is preying on them, but they have no idea what. Something is in the darkness. Blah, 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 blah. Right, sorry. Here we go. Captain, I think I'm back to myself, but you're looking sort of halfway between you and Captain Future, whoever you are. I'm not really sure. Shut up, Spock. I'm back to myself again. Just get on with it. Some kind of weird anomaly. It happens all the time. Fascinating. Nano is accessing a primal level of the shared consciousness. The readings are akin to brain activity during sleep. Meaning sleep apnea, Spock. Whoa. Didn't know you had that. Let's see here. Now, again, you can see this guy looks at him. He studies. He takes photographs and just traces them.
That's a good panel there, Spock.
Yes.
Okay.
It appears the Lyran's shared consciousness is mirrored by a similarly shared unconsciousness of which they are unaware. Is this rooted in their racial subconscious? Indeed.
This is good. Listen to this.
Lyran cultural introspection predisposes them to suspicion of others. I believe they have subconsciously developed a phobia of the unfamiliar manifesting itself as an uncontrollable pyrotechnic force. Love it.
Yes.
I love it.
So TOS.
Big time. Particularly if they encountered aliens like us in the plaza today. Precisely. Nano. Spock, pull him. No, stop acting like that, Captain. You're not the captain yet. Oh, sorry. Sorry. Captain Pike, cease this blasphemy. Cease this blasphemy. One Lyran mind touches all. Your intrusion has violated the privacy of our unity. But unity's under threat.
Doing this.
I'm sorry, what?
I said Jimmy would love what you're doing there.
I hope so.
It's so good, Clubby. I love it.
Oh, thank you. The unity's under threat, that junk Coda. Your people are dying. You need help, but you're too proud to ask for it. Captain, Fashum. Oh, wait a minute. Fashumf is the big explosion. This is guilty. Oh, sorry.
That sounds like backdraft. You know what I mean? It sounds like backdraft. Like, when air gets into a fire. Anyway, I like that part.
What is that thing? It is our killer. It is us. A blazing embodiment of our deep-rooted fear of the unknown, hidden in our shared consciousness for centuries.
See? TOS. TOS.
It feeds off our phobia of others, of the worlds beyond our own. To defeat it, we must confront ourselves. No, stand clear. This is beautiful. This is episode stuff. Really
This is episode stuff. Why didn't they just use this comic book to make the new series? And don't get me wrong, I wouldn't approve of a new series anyways, because I don't believe.
But I know what you're saying. Yeah.
That Pike is a costume. He's a man,
No,
but
it's not.
It's an
Man,
episode.
baby. Yep. No, you're right. Dad man, what's up, buddy?
Hey, Dad man.
No, down. So let's see, it doesn't even feel phasers. Maybe it still feels this. And this lady who I always forget her name, she threw something at it.
Sita Mohindas.
Okay. I don't know what she threw at it. Oh, but Spock says, shrewd thinking, Lieutenant, creating a negative psionic feedback between
It's
the
the
entity.
psionic machine that they
Right.
had RX
Right.
Nano hooked up to.
The
Yeah.
psionic feedback between the entity and the steel active amplifier. Hey, I was
Mhm.
just following a hunch. Captain, that creature. So, Captain, will that creature return? I'm not the one you should be asking, Mr. Nano. I'm not the one you should be asking, Mr. Nano. It will adjunct Coda. It will adjunct Coda as long as the Lyran refuse to face their latent fears of the outside. It will continue to haunt us. We need help in this, and there is no shame in asking for it from the Federation. After all,
That's a Gene Roddenberry line right there. That all of
that is
that,
what
all of that.
Yep.
That is like
he
it
said.
just came out of Gene's mouth. That
Well,
is just so good.
he said, after all, that is what friends are for. So anyway, looks like the wheels are in motion. Adjunct Coda, the captain in Starfleet, would send a science vessel to investigate the situation here. So I guess this is goodbye. Not quite. Life on Lyra is not for me, but I can still play a role in the Unity. I am to rejoin the Enterprise, but will return home periodically to share it, to share what I have seen and experienced. This way, it will dispel the fears of what is out there.
So Gene
Incidentally-
Roddenberry.
Oh, so much so, yeah, absolutely. Incidentally, thank you for your prompt action earlier. It seems the Mahendas family continues to have a profound effect on my life. You know about my father?
Mm.
Of course. Thanks to one Mahendas, I was given life. Thanks to another, I have kept it.
Oh, so beautiful. This is Gene Roddenberry.
I love it. This is really fun stuff.
The only thing I didn't like was I thought the wrap up was too quick, and that happens a lot with these comics. And they're stuck to 22 pages. So I think we needed
Is
like
that the
one or
limit?
two
You
more.
just taught me something. We only get 22 pages?
Normally you
Usually.
get 22 pages. Yeah.
Depending, it varies,
Oh,
but
I
yeah, the
didn't know that.
Yeah.
comic book stories are sometimes at the time they're less than that, but other times it varies. But that's your base. That's why some of these stories you've been seeing that we've been doing have been two-parters, because there's just no way that this one. I loved how they were able to do this really good story in one part.
Yeah.
Made it feel a little bit closer. So but sometimes they have to break them into two parts. There's no way to tell it.
Mhm.
It's a short story. It's even shorter when it's for comics when it's
It's like
17,
Tales of
18,
Tomorrow.
20 pages. Yeah.
Yeah, 22 minutes, 21 to 22 minutes. That's all you get. Okay, guys,
Right.
I'm just going to go ahead and just give my rating now.
Go for it.
This is the best early voyages to date. This actually fooled me.
Better than
it
the
fooled-
Cage one?
Yeah, it fooled me because I was giggling and smiling through reading the whole thing when we got to about the halfway point, because it 100% sounds like Gene Roddenberry wrote this comic.
Oh,
And
yeah.
it is so delightful to be talking about friendships and about not being insulated, and just reaching out and learning about other people and being a part of something, and just like all the positivity and just the way it's written. It's very well written. This is the best of these episodes. I can't call them comics, folks. I can't. I'm a nerd. The best of the forgotten episodes thus far is Star Trek Early Voyages, episode 9. This should have been. Oh, I wish Jeffrey Hunter didn't die. This should have been an episode. Oh my goodness. I mean, this just proves that those studio executives had no idea what they were talking about when they told Gene that it was too esoteric and that it was too cerebral. It would have been fabulous. It would have been fabulous. Oh, it's the best. It's the best one so far. It's the best one so far. It almost made me want to pretend that Gene Roddenberry wrote it, because that's exactly how it sounds, it looks, and it feels. It's the best.
I think he would have liked not only the story but the character of Nano and his whole
Yes.
concept. He would have said,
Nano.
We got to have that. We got to have that." Arix was just he wanted to have He just wanted to have a goofy, like looking alien, so they could say we have very alien type look. And I know Eric's,
Yeah, three.
Eric's was never
three,
given an episode. Yeah, he
Never.
was never given, and he never got to do anything hardly, which is fine and all that stuff. But but still, he was there for a point. Well, him being on this in this comic was sort of a they were going to do this character anyway, but they thought it may be kind of fun to make him like a little little fun nod to make him resemble Eric's a little bit. But there's a lot of substance to him.
Yeah, you caught that.
A great
That's what I was
concept.
wondering.
What
You thought a little bit of Eric's in him?
Well, I haven't talked to anybody on official or anything.
That's what I thought. I was thinking
I'm not
too when
but
I was watching it.
It feels like it could be the case.
Yeah.
That this
Well,
character.
I think of Eric's immediately, and I think of Jimmy Doohan when Clubby does the voice. That's all I think about. That's what I was calling him Eric's. Clubby laughed when I called him Eric's. You were away with
Eric's,
your mom
yes.
when I called him that, but
Eric's.
I love him, and I love when Clubby does Jimmy Doohan doing Eric's doing Nano.
Mr. Spock, I don't know. I'd have to know some dialogue to read as Eric's, but yeah. I don't know why. You think that was Doohan for that one too? Was it Doohan or was it Takei? It was Doohan, I guess.
Yeah.
They both did.
As Larry,
Huh?
what was he say? As Larry says in the chat, Forbidden Planet is basically a Star Trek pilot, and this
Well,
book,
yeah.
I've got a lot of Forbidden Planet in this storyline too. So with the this planet, their subconscious is acting out to destroy them. That's right out of Forbidden Planet and Shakespeare the Tempest, right? I mean,
You know what we didn't do?
What didn't we do?
We should do our opening theme.
Oh no,
we didn't.
do the
Oh, no.
intro.
There's the intro and outro. Here's the intro, folks, for the comic review that we're too late, but people like it, so we'll do it.
Good night,
Yeah.
Dust Wolfen.
But don't leave. But good night,
Yeah,
Star Wolf. Yeah.
Good night, Dolph
found-
Woman. But if you weren't planning to leave, don't leave after this. We just
Yeah,
forgot to
don't
doing
leave.
our opening because I'm an imbecile. So we thought we didn't want to.
And we let you down too. Yeah,
We
let
don't
you down
wanna-
too.
We should have
forgot,
remembered too. We've done
Yeah,
98
we're all
episodes
imbeciles.
with you.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to do this. I'm supposed to remember these things.
We all are.
Anyway, but we figured it would be a treat for you. We all enjoy seeing it. So here we go.
Warp drive, Mr. Scott. Ahead warp 1, Mr. Sulu. Accelerating to warp 1, sir.
Yes, my big
Well
hand.
done.
Round of applause to the most wonderful first officer in the fleet, Commander Oren Briggs. Love it. Well done.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
I got my popcorn out to that's like a mini movie, so I was enjoying some popcorn
Oh,
during that interlude.
ah,
That was,
nice.
the music was Clubby's idea. I was just gonna go with I was gonna find another song that was like soaring and episodic,
Yep.
like like not episodic, like epic. And I was looking
Right.
for another epic orchestration. And then Clobby just said, no, this is our brand.
It's
Go
our
with
Star
go
Trek
with that
music.
and make me something nice.
Greatness.
And then
Well,
it all came together. And so
It's wonderful.
thank you, everyone.
Let's see here.
Oh wait, I need your. Oh, sorry. I was gonna say I need Raquel's rating though for my notebook.
Okay.
A plus plus.
I don't know how to rate this. Can I? Is there?
Go
Is
by
there
your
any-
way you did a UFO, I guess, or way you do an episode of Voyager, or however you want. I mean,
Okay, so so far I think I've just been giving like the regular grade, like A, B, C. I don't know how to grade this. Like to me,
That's
this
too
is
good.
yeah, it's so
I'm doing A
mind-blowing.
plus plus plus.
Yeah, I think so. Like maybe like A, like with 5 or 6 pluses after it,
Okay,
because
I'll do 5.
there you go.
how
Extra
can
credit.
like imagine loving Gene Roddenberry so much that you sit down and you study his writing and how he likes to convey his thoughts and his ideas, which of course everyone knows I call the Socratic dialectic, because it really is. He presents evidence and asks questions, and then the audience arrives at what they believe or what they think is true, or how they feel. And just imagine being so good at that you make this episode. I know it's a comic. I can't admit it's a
okay.
comic. It's
We'll
just
get there.
so damn good. It's just so good. This is Gene Roddenberry. This is an episode. This would have been one of the stories that he wrote on a paper towel or a napkin or a used receipt from Kmart. This is one of the things he would have done. It's so good. Anyway, I'm gonna shut up now.
Okay,
No,
Clobbering
cool.
times. You're an A plus. I'm an A plus.
I'm an A plus plus.
Plus plus. All right. Yeah. I'll give it
Absolutely.
2 pluses.
No,
Yeah, it was good.
No, it was absolutely. We have Fiona.
Great.
Has something to say about it. Princess Fiona says, "My review, A plus. This was pure Gene and Gene all the way through. Pure sci-fi that harkens back to the golden age. Art is fantastic too. The book gives chills. Feels like an episode of your episode. It feels like an episode if you close your eyes. Absolutely, it's just well said, Fiona."
Curtsy.
And then Rossler is legit. He had Gene's blessing. She is number one. She is number one to me.
Yeah.
Additionally, her human parents are the Hudeks, and they call her Lee. Headcanon solved. Robbins was a typo. Yeah, I don't know where they get the Robbins one from at all. And Larry hadn't mentioned this to us. See, I never read that. I never read that recap page. I guess because it's been like 3 issues that they've had the recap page.
Yeah, we're used to that, so us comic book veterans kind of skip certain things when we
skip
see
those things. Yeah,
we skip the recap, skip the title block.
Well, I claim Larry for the nerd camp, and I would just like to say that because like of the things he says in the chat. So I claim Larry for camp nerd, and I just want to say that without our chat, I don't think that we would be able to have as deep a dives as we have. Everyone always compliments Clubby and I on Saturday Night Star Trek for the deep dives we do. And Clubby and I are always throwing it back to the chat for the questions they raise, the things that they bring up, the discussions that they push for. And tonight is a shining example of that. Without Larry, we wouldn't have been able to uncover all of the names that they were trying to assign her, and come up with our own ideas about what we think of that. So I just want to doff my cap. I'm going to doff my flat cap right now, me Irish flat cap. I want to doff it to Larry. Thank you so much, sweetheart. Good, juicy stuff tonight.
Yes, indeed, yes. We really appreciate you all. Absolutely.
Oh, did you see Larry's rating? Let me start, boss.
I don't know. Oh, I didn't. Okay. Larry is A freaking plus. Yes, sir. Thank you, Larry.
And I found a couple of Star Trek things from the file. If we want to, since it's Star Trek Day, I could do a quick show and tell. Let me change my mic here. So, of course, as Raquel likes saying, show the receipts, right? So
Yes.
here's and Clobbering Times. Oh, let me switch to my headset microphone.
Okay.
$4.95.
Could not be
So
reached
this-
for further comment. Left a review, folks. I just don't want it to get lost. He says A conscious, A plus, and a subconscious A plus. So could not be reached for further comment. Thank you so much for your review, and I want everyone to know that I read everything. that you
Absolutely.
said
Thank you.
about what you feel about her name, and I just want to thank you for that beautiful conversation. It was terrific. Thank you, everyone.
Oh, let's see here.
Sorry, I'm waving in here, but this is an ad from Parade Magazine
Okay.
in 19. I kind of taped it to my Raiders of the Lost Ark album, 1987. So this is 87. So of course, Clobbering Times is 100% right, as per usual. So this was $4.95. This was kind of like a giveaway, where they had that Columbia tape and where you get the first episode. So you take your first Star Trek video cassette, the Menagerie parts 1 and 2, for only $4.95.
Okay.
So, and then they say, I'm skimming it here, but each is yours. Okay, so beam aboard the Enterprise when Kirk battles a mutated Superman and outwits a deadly space probe. Visit the planet Vulcan, where Spock must fight Kirk to the death. Meet Spock's parents and journey to Babel. Kirk's Romulan counterpart in the Balance of Terror, and the dangerous Khan in Space Seed. Each double action adventure video cassette, so they had two episodes, is yours to preview for 10 days risks free. Each is yours to keep for only $24.95 plus $2.45 shipping, handling, and applicable sales tax. There's no minimum number you must buy. You may cancel it any time. So imagine that, of course, there's 79 episodes.
Yeah.
So times. So you get the first one for $4.95. So you've got to buy
$150
times
for the whole thing.
24.95. So so let's say 24. So say 25 times.
Plus the shipping and handling.
Yeah, plus the shipping and handling. So say $28 each, right? Plus tax. So 28 times 40. Say 40 tapes, just to round up.
Mm-hmm.
So that'd be $1,120 to own Star Trek.
1,000?
Wait,
Yeah.
wait.
What am I thinking? What am I tired?
Wait.
Right. Well, wait. Did I do that right? 40
No,
times.
no. Wait. Hold on for a minute. What are you saying?
30.
Hold on. Just
$1,200. Because you'd have to get 40 tapes, right? Say
Right.
40 tapes
Mhm.
times say $28 a tape. 40 times 28 is $1,120.
Oh my God, it is. It's $1,120. What am I? Yeah, you guys. Please excuse me. I'm tired.
Where are these from? These? Because see, that's not the ones. That's not the ones I bought.
This was a later one. I think you're right. So the first ones were just solo tapes, I think, weren't they?
The first tapes were in the mid to early 1980s, in the 80s, somewhere around
This is 87.
84, something like that. And what they did was they did laser discs and video and VHS and Betamax. And they had a random smattering of episodes, like they'd have I can't remember which one was on the one with Sitting on Just Forever, but it wasn't chronological. It'd be like it was one from a completely that was one of them, and maybe Trouble with Tribbles was the other on that tape, on that disc. And there were about maybe a handful of discs or tapes that they even did, like 12 of them.
Yeah.
And that was the first time we were ever on any kind of home video that I remember.
Mhm.
Then, a few years later, it was at 87, 85, 88, whatever it was.
That's this one, you think?
Right, except that doesn't like the ones that don't look like the tapes I have. I still have mine. In other words, mine didn't come mine didn't come in a case like that, I don't think. But
unless they changed it when they came out.
Are these two or one? Are these individuals?
These
or
are two per. Two per,
These
yeah.
are
So the
two
first
ones.
cassette,
I got the individual
Menagerie.
ones that were on the sale at the store, like the Suncoast video
Okay.
and all that other stuff. This is an ordering thing. They must have did this through Paramount or CBS. But remember when it would come out? It would come out on at the store, on the video store, and it would come out. Remember Suncoast Video and all those places like that?
Yeah, yeah.
That's the ones I was buying. What happened was around 1987 or so. I remember I was re-recording some tracks because I wanted to get some better copies, and I re-recorded this one day, or No, it was either that or someone told me about it. And so I recorded one. It was like they'd stop running it on in syndication for a little bit here. Then they came back on. I ordered one, and this episode opens up, and I think it's Enemy Within or whatever. And I start watching it, and I said, "Wow, look how clear this is." Because I've got the old green. At this point, I've got the old green copies. You know, the old that have been over and over again and messed up and with pops and all. I said, "Oh my God, it's beautiful. It's unreal." Well, wait about 5 seconds, 10 to 15 seconds, and they chop it and go to a commercial. They chop a whole good 10, 15 second out. And trust me, the way we watched the show over again, we knew. And I'm like, at first, because I was horrified, but maybe it was an accident. So we start watching, this new syndication package because they're like, how beautiful they were. I can't believe this guy. Yet they're cutting minutes. They're trimming them for commercials. Well, we were livid about it. You start reading about it, and so there weren't a lot. You couldn't just get, news information at the drop of a, we had to wait to find out what was going on. We're like pissed off. We were speculating. Why are they doing this? We figured it was for commercials. Well, not too long down the road, I think obviously Starlog has an article about it, and another thing comes up. Well, guess what? Not a year, not maybe a year, whatever. You start seeing ads for the Star Trek episodes, uncut, remastered.
Right.
Remastered.
I'm in on it, right?
Yep, uncut, remastered, or whatever they want to call it. Look, without the commercial interruptions and crude editing. And so we had to start. Well, they're putting these out for like, I don't know how much they were at that point, $30, $40, or one episode. $30. I remember them being in a different case than that, and there were a case that was just a regular size case that
I have one of these. I did buy one of these, I think, or got
that's
one
CBS.
Of these.
Right, buddy of mine had these.
CBS. Yeah,
that's the
CBS
subscription
video library.
That's the video
a subscription.
library.
But what were they if you were getting them a la carte?
They were. That's what I'm trying to remember how much they were. I have to ask Claude or Scott.
Yeah.
One of mine.
Honestly,
but I do know this.
When you need them.
What I do know is I was buying them that way because I wasn't going to buy them through the subscription thing, and they were beautiful copies. And sure thing, first thing I got the first one I got, which wasn't the Cage. It was it wasn't Man Trap either. I think they actually did put Where No Man's Gone Before out first, and watched every second of it. Oh wow, they didn't butcher it. And it's beautiful. Yeah. Oh my God.
And it's VHS. It's hysterical.
And you better believe I bought them all.
Yeah.
Now, Raquel's going to like this. So I don't know if you've seen these before. I think
Clam
Claude
shells?
has all these. No, this was a booklet that they were selling, giving out. It was, who made these? I have these unopened because they kept sending me because I subscribed to everything Star Trek. So it's inside 5 pre-Star Trek facts and photo cards. And so it was like a book that you could put, I think, in a binder. Let's see here. 99 cents. Official fact and photo cards. And so they give you this primer here. And let me cover up my old address there. But yeah, so they would show you.
Greg's going to bed. Good night, Gwagnar.
Good night, Gwagnar.
Good night, Gwagnar.
Good night, everyone. I'll see you on Saturday night. Your Star Trek Supercast.
And good night, Don. Also, by the way, it looks like we're going to get Raquel out of here too.
Yeah, she yawned too.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just pooped.
I know. We need to get you moving.
No, it's okay.
Well,
I'm having
just
a ball.
Couple minutes. So these are like fact cards. They're kind of like a big form collector card that you could get, and I think they had a binder you could put them in. I'm trying to remember. But yeah, Star Trek Universe cards, they called them.
September 8th. See, it says September 8th.
Yeah, 99 cents.
Today's September 8th. And yet it says 1964. Wow. Look.
Yeah.
The date of the first draft.
The date of the first draft.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why it's Star Trek Day. The 8th works as Star Trek Day because of that. How about that, number one?
Yeah. So I figured
it does work like that. But I do like that you're showing the card because whenever anyone says 1966, Clobby has always allowed me to correct that and always say, well, technically, probably thinking about it in 63 and wrote it in 64. And Clobby always lets me say that. So I love that because there it is, September 8th, 1964, the date of the first draft.
Yeah.
But it originally conceived in 1960. So it goes back
Right.
even
Yeah.
further than I thought. As a
But-
matter of fact, look, I'm like extremely pooped because I did a lot of painting. I'm painting in the basement, the family room. And so like I'm kind of like a nincompoop right now. But could you please read that?
Sure. So September 8th, 1964, the date of the first draft of Gene Roddenberry's story that would become the first pilot for Star Trek. Originally conceived in 1960, Roddenberry pitched the idea for Star Trek to the studio he was working for at the time, Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer, who declined the opportunity to produce it. Roddenberry eventually sold the idea to Desilu Studios and NBC based on his unique vision and small 16-page outline. NBC gave him $20,000 to develop 3 stories from this outline, and The Cage was chosen to be the pilot. It was filmed later that year over a period of 9 days at a cost of $630,000, making the most expensive television pilot ever produced to that date. So yeah, so Star Trek was not cheap.
So here, this whole time, I thought that it only took him about a year to write it, and it actually took him about 3.5 years to write it. Makes me feel better about my latest book, Science Fiction Tales Volume 2. I'm trying to do it in a year.
Well, there you go. The reason why I always say 66 though is because that's when it was born. I mean, they don't. No one goes by the year you were conceived.
Yeah, no, yeah,
Yeah.
well, that's exactly it, right?
Well, the Japanese do actually, I think, and I
Okay.
think they just changed that finally. Yeah, they always added 9 months. Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Did you know the actual title of the first pilot was changed during its production to The Menagerie? But since it was never aired and the later 2-part episode of the show used this name, the first pilot will always be known by its original working name, The Cage. The inhabitants of Talos 4, the Telosians, were performed by female actors dubbed with male voices, giving them very convincing alien characteristics. So so these are great. These are like, I always love collector cards, and these are basically, big cards, basically.
But their voices weren't dubbed. I think
They weren't
there was
dubbed?
I think there was one that was it dubbed or no? I seem to also remember that someone's voice was tuned to sound more male. But I think it was
I don't
one
know.
and then the other. So I think it was actually a mixture of the two, but I would need to check my block text on that.
Yeah.
But I would need to fact check that. But yeah.
Let's see. It
This
says
is
a
so
major
cool.
scene from the pilot that was edited out of the later episode, The Menagerie, was Mr. Spock's decision to leave Talos 4 while Captain Pike was still being held captive underground. And then they say 3 scripts are written for the second pilot: The Omega Glory, Mud's Women, and Where No Man Has Gone Before.
Mhm.
The last being the one that was filmed, which we all know.
That's
But and here we go. Here, this is interesting to read. For many years, no color print of The Cage seemed to exist.
Yep.
Gene
Mhm.
Roddenberry would show a special print of the film when he lectured at colleges around the country.
Hey, I was talking about that earlier.
Yeah, this version intercut the color bits from The Menagerie with the black and white frames from The Cage. It was not until 1988 when a complete color print of The Cage mysteriously surfaced that Paramount Pictures was finally able to release a completely restored full color version of this original episode.
And
So,
I
yeah.
think it was available, I think, but I would need to check because it's lots of information, folks, for the 735. But I believe it was in December of 88. So one time I believe I had a conversation with someone online who was trying to falsify that he had watched The Cage. And then I reminded him that he would, I believe he only would have had something like 12 days during the month of December in which to purchase it. So there's no possible way that anyone could have watched it before 89 unless it was that lecture. But I would need to check the date. But I'm pretty sure that it came out in December. So you only had the time period before Christmas to get it if it was even in stores near you. So that's why I always say, you didn't watch The Cage, you big fat liar, liar, pants on fire, hanging from a telephone wire.
Yeah, I got a buddy that was fortunate enough to go see that at a campus.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Imagine that.
That beautiful email that you sent. Oh my God.
Oh, you like that? Cool.
Yes, of course I did.
Relics.
Yeah, so I guess you could send away. There were 30 cards for 99 cents. I don't know if they signed you up for more, but Yeah, so it's pretty darn cheap. So I have a bunch of these. They'd send you them, and I have all these packages, and one of them is actually pretty thick. I've never opened them, so I don't know if it was when I ordered the card. Like this one has got a ton of card. This one, this is the version that I ordered. I can't tell. I never opened it because it's got the prophecy. It's got a 3-hole
Don't
punch in
open
here.
it.
I think this is. I'm not opening it. But, oh, this is. Yeah, this is. So this was the free one they'd send you.
Yeah.
I must have ordered this and I
Can you
never
flip it
opened
around,
it.
please?
Sure. Yep. So this has the front of the cage.
Yeah.
It doesn't have the 3-hole punch. So I must have splurged and sent it away for $1 and gotten the
Oh.
whole. I'm guessing that's all of them in there. But
You could mail me one of those.
I'll throw one of these in the box. But yeah, I don't know what. I'm guessing
I'm
this
just
is
kidding. I'm just kidding.
Oh, I have
I love your
like
museum.
5 more of these. I mean, I have a
it's
whole
like-
Star Trek file cabinet with all the articles and stuff. So yeah, like here's
Oh,
cover of
Larry's
my address.
saying, Mark, it was a subscription. I got him.
Oh, you got them.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so
Yeah.
I'm guessing this was one of the packages, Larry. I don't know how many packages you got, but
He's
this
got
one has
them.
this has got the so I don't know what the total size. It must have done all episodes, right?
Larry, do you know how many there were? I think that's kind of what Mark's asking.
Yeah, total. Maybe I've ordered just this one for. You could get 30 for $1. It looks like, and then probably they signed you up. Maybe no
Oh,
obligation with this offer. Pay after my cards. They must have signed you up for something after, but yeah, I'm sure we'll look that up. So here's free your Star Trek 25th anniversary pin, Star Trek video preview, limited 25th anniversary card. So this is still in the envelope. I never opened this. So look how cool that card is there. That's awesome. 25th
it's very
anniversary.
cool. Mark,
Don't wait.
just so you
Free
know,
offer.
Larry said that he can't remember.
Okay. Well, thank you, Larry. We'll look it up. I'm sure. So
Look at what you've gone and
1992.
done. The offer
Yeah.
ends on August 31st, 1992. Mark? Damn it, Mark.
So you could time travel there, but yeah. So they sent you a card, yeah, with your name on it, Star Trek card, collector's edition. So you kept getting these in the mail all the time too. So that one I just left in the.
Oh,
the
to be
thing, but-
American.
Yeah. So here, yours free.
Kept getting
with your
these in
name,
the mail.
25th anniversary. Yeah.
Privileged. Yes,
And the
Yeah.
pin, you got a pin.
Why do you think I tell everyone, like, why are you upset with Americans? Americans have exported the most beautiful culture and cultural artifacts ever. Like, it's so fun to be American. Like, I envy you guys, but not in a bad way, in a good way. Like,
Oh,
I
thank
would
you.
love to go to the United States and go into a flea market or go into a secondhand store. I mean, look at the stuff they sent Mark in the mail. I mean, I don't even think we even had a convention here until the 2000s, and here Mark's getting this in the mail. Like, it's so cool.
He's spoiled.
Oh my gosh, if I would have hung out with you guys, if I would have hung out with you guys when I was young, oh my gosh,
You
I'd
would
be
have
even
fun.
worse than I am right now.
You'd have some fun.
Yeah.
So see that little poster on the cassette there? So that's one of my all-time favorite Star Trek posters. So if I scroll up here, or pan up,
gooder.
so sorry about the light, but let me
Oh no, that's okay.
Let me
Don't
move my-
apologize. It's very nice.
my light out. Here we go. But anyway, you can see the
Well, you got
that's
the
one of
20
the
year.
all-time great. That's the poster from the cassette.
Yeah.
So 20 years.
Cool.
I've shown you guys that before, but I can't get.
Beautiful.
But that's that poster, and I remember going to the video store, and I've since bought maybe like 5 or 6 copies of this because it's my favorite poster. And when can I have that poster? When can I have that poster? I'll give you money for it. It's like, oh, but we're trying to sell. I guess you could rent. I guess you could buy the rent the tapes there too. I'm guessing at the time, I'm trying to remember. And finally, all right,
Yeah,
all
you
right, kid, you can have it. You can have it. You can have it. So I just love that poster. So here's another mailing. Of course, I was a member of the Star Trek fan club and the Communicator. So here's, a collector's
Cool.
dream, a fan's treasure. Keep the mission alive of Star Trek: The Next Gen. On Keepsake Collector's Edition video cassettes. Preview your introductory video cassette for 10 days. So you can watch the crap out of it for 10 days and send it back, I guess. So encounter at Farpoint. Oops. Yeah, so just an introduction to TNG. And of course, keepsake video cassette. So here's the, just like with Star Trek TOS. So even though the final Star Trek Next Generation episode is aired, you can still keep the mission alive with Star Trek The Next Gen Collector's Edition video collection. So, yeah, I guess this came out in 1994. So
Wow.
that's that
Hey,
almost
Parker
30
Luck.
years ago.
Parker, what's up?
And here we go. Sarek, Mark Leonard, Relics, Jimmy Doohan. Of course, they're showing Best of Both Worlds with the Borg. Sins of the Father, the first show ever to look at the Klingon homeworld. Yeah, I love that episode. Yeah, so this is just fun. They just keep bombarding you with the stuff in the mail, like buy it. And of course, I saved it. So of course, yeah, here's another. There's another one. Yeah, with my name's on the card there. Yeah, so which is hysterical. And I think I got a pin. I guess they give you a pin too. Oh yeah, the pin. The pin is the pin's in here.
Did you ever join Starfleet?
I never joined Starfleet.
I did.
Cool.
Oh, you're a fixed stamp here to get free pin. Oh, I didn't get the pin, but they give you the card. They give you like the credit card, the 20th anniversary card, which is damn cool. I gotta say, that's nice.
If you joined Starfleet, there weren't very many of us in Starfleet. I didn't renew my membership just very recently, but I was in Starfleet for a number of years, and you're supposed to keep your Starfleet number secret because you use it as an entrance to get into lots of things, including like clubs. So you don't want to, like if you're online, you don't want anyone to know your actual Starfleet number. And surprisingly, the thing that always freaked me out is there were only like 5,000 or 6,000 of us worldwide in Starfleet, like actually in Starfleet.
Not a huge number, right? Yeah.
No, so it was so funny, like when all the weirdo filth people started liking their filth, and they were like doing like "We Are Starfleet" on the social media, I responded to a few of them, and I'm like, "But are you though? What are the last 3 digits of your Starfleet number? Are you really Starfleet? Mean. You're not Starfleet. So why are you saying we are Starfleet?" I know it's mean, right? I mean,
yeah. There's, I guess that maybe I opened up one of the packages. I actually opened it up to free it.
Open something.
I opened something, yeah. So the last thing I have to show tonight is pretty cool, I think.
Yeah, I gotta get out of here because
this is the last thing. Yeah, this is the very last thing. So first day of issue ceremony program, celebrate the art of stamps.
Nice.
And we got a forever stamp, which I'm never gonna mail. But this is
unless you mail it to me.
Unless I mail it to,
of course.
Yep. So there's a Star Trek Forever stamp. Yep, which is pretty cool. So they put that on. If you're a stamp collector, they have that on. It's first day of issue, and the post office will sell that stuff because they want to make.
I collect.
They want to make
Star
money.
Trek stamps, Canadian stamps.
You're philatelist. Philatelist.
That is one of the things that I do collect, and I also collect the coins, but like from the Canadian Mint. But do you know that I tried to get Star Trek stamps so that I could send you and Clobby things like, and I couldn't get them; they weren't available.
Oh, well, we appreciate that.
It's not suitable for archiving. Oh, well,
no.
That's all right. Well, but yeah, that's a fun thing to have. So, all right,
we're gonna make our way
out of here
really quickly. But number one, final words.
Oh my goodness. My final words are thank you so much for the outstanding Star Trek conversation. I'm literally an hour overtime. I really need to get out of here, but I do have
we didn't do Tales of Tomorrow.
We'll get you out quick.
You guys, I had so much fun tonight. I just want to thank my Patreon subs really quickly. Larry, Tony Stark, Sean Carter, Cardinal Sin, Shooter, Chris Persia, Scuba and Leslie Pete, Eric K, Enigmatic Drop Bear, Michael and Cassandra Beacom, Mark D with a C, Anti-Derivative Jill, Maximum Redstone, JT Kirk, Dadman and the Dadman Clan, Lord and Lady Thought, and of course Rob Altus. But I just have to tap the brakes here because I just want to say, oh my gosh, we had such a fun deep dive because of Larry tonight.
Yeah.
It was so fun, and I'm sorry that I was tired at the end and confused that the tapes were $5 each when I had just heard they were 25. I'm super tired, but I love you all so much. I had such a beautiful conversation that I allowed myself to stay an hour more than I can be here because it's already after midnight here. But what an amazing conversation. Thank you, each and every one of you. I enjoyed your company tonight immensely. Thank you for being such great friends to me, to Mark, and to Clobby, and for supporting Clobby. I want to thank everyone who generously donated and sent gifts to Clobby's virtual comic book shop, especially Larry. You're so generous and kind and smart and cool. Thank you for keeping us company and just for everything. And thank you to everyone who sent my best friend those gifts. It was super nice of you. Thank you to all of the moderators, and thank you to Mark. Don't forget to follow Mark on his Patreon, and don't forget to like and subscribe Clobby's channel. And also, I just want to shout out to all of the lurkers. Thank you for supporting my buddy. I love Clobby very much, and we really appreciate your support. Even though you lurk, you make everything so cool with your comments and your likes and just that support. So thank you so much, everyone. I'm sending a huge hug to all of you. Thank you for a marvelous evening. Couldn't have had it without all of you folks. Clobby, I love you, honey. Thank you for having me tonight.
Oh, love you. Thank you so much. You're the best. You make these shows worthwhile. You're the greatest. Everyone loves you here. Chief engineer, closing
You
words.
can call me number 2. Yep. Well, thank you,
Number
Raquel.
2.
Yeah, we'll make it quick because that's what happens. We have a ton of fun and we don't realize that we did this for 4 hours.
Oh, yeah.
And thanks to the chat, it's so much fun too. So yeah, Sunday Night Geekery will be back. Looking forward to hanging out with the gang on Saturday Night Star Trek, and Toxic Tuesday issue. No, I'm saying issue. Episode 101 will be happening, and I can't remember what the movie is, but I think it's
it's Jackie Chan.
Jackie Chan, yeah, Police Story.
I heard Nick mention it tonight.
Yeah, thank you. Yep. So looking forward to that, and I started streaming the Star Trek new Star Trek game, Star Trek Resurgence, and Clobbering Times popped in at the end of that. So periodically I'll try to stream that, and this pretty good game so far, pretty fun. So hopefully I'll get to stream that a few more times because it's a nice story. It's more of a story in the game versus arcade stuff. So it's a fun one. So yeah, thanks everyone. Thanks to the chat. You guys were awesome tonight. So it was a fun night, and let's get out of here so Raquel can have some cheeseburgers. Or
yes,
cheeseburgers.
Or whatever
burgers. Yeah.
All righty.
You know what? I remember when I was allowed to have cheeseburgers. My doctor says I'm not anymore. And you know what? It's really hard living like a rabbit. You go to bed a lot earlier, don't you, when you become a rabbit?
Oh boy. Yep. Yeah. No, I'm about to be there myself. So there's Minimus popped in for the last moment there.
Minimus.
So Minimus Prime. All right, everybody. Well, let's see here. Shout outs. We'll do it really quickly. Tomorrow night I'll be over there. But Lisa's here. Hey, Lisa. What's up? Good to see you. Welcome. We're just getting out of here, but great to see you. Gasp Choke. I'll be over there at my good buddy J Man's channel. Is at I believe 6 p.m. Central, 7 Eastern, for another review of or continual review of our continuing ongoing reviews of Jack Kirby's Fourth World. So looking forward to that. Always a lot of fun hanging out with J Man and Sean. Great stuff. No 32 flavors tomorrow night at Equalizer's Comic Shop, but he'll be back. And of course, Saturday night Star Trek is back. It returns, and boy, are we on the threshold of something great. 4 more episodes of Star Trek Voyage. All right, Sunday night. Mike, let's see, Mark C with a D as a C, whatever he is, Mark D with a C. Sunday night geekery, which will definitely be eatery, Sunday nightery, but that's okay. And then I'll be at J-Man. J-Man will be on my channel hanging out with me next this week. This is an older ad, but it'll be on Earth B, Bob Haney, having some fun over there reviewing another wackadoodle Bob Haney classic. So let's see here. Hey, Empress NM, welcome. Good to see you popping in here. Sorry we have to see friends popping in while we're on the run out here, but simply I'll shut out our wrenches and we'll get out of here. Great Eric K, Chris Persia, D-Bud Martin, Lord Thoth, J-Man, Hungry Boy, Kal-El, Phantom Outsidery, Maddie's Daddy, Music Meister, Max Redstone, and everybody else. Hey, thank you so much for being here with us tonight. We really, really appreciate it. And hey, we'll see you on the Trekway Saturday night. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Crazy.
It's clobbering time!
Crazy.
I just love clobbering time.